Hello, greetings. Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. Me, Pilgrim X, your host, co-host, guest, the official Chris. He's having a little bit of issue, but he'll be back on again. He's going in and out. Jordan's coming on. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to start the episode straight to the point, so that way people watch it in the future, anybody that comes up now will get the topic. I've written down in my notes. So addiction, the root word of addiction comes from the Latin word adices. And what that means is to devote, to surrender yourself. And historically, it means to bound or assign. You're like enslaved. You're enslaved to this thing in a religious way.
It in the car. Don't say that.
So I've been thinking a lot about how addiction and worship overlap psychologically.
Yeah.
Ancient worship traditions usually demanded patience, humility, discipline, sacrifice. A lot of things people are scared of today. And those things slowed you down. They slowed your thoughts down, slowed you down. Like, I'm rushing, I got all this going on. Modern culture often redirects that same religious energy into fast-moving things engineered to capture instantly. Algorithms, status, consumption, outrage, stimulation. All these things. Now, we still worship, but we just mass-produce the objects we worship now. And so this is what it means. Basically, people are often trying to escape limitation, emptiness, loneliness, morality, boredom, or meaninglessness. But modern systems monetize them instead of trying to resolve it. What up, Fish? What up, Hutch? What up, Richard? What up, BDJ?
Yeah, they'll just wish to further propel you down the perpetual hole.
But you can't get too existential on things because everybody, the world is split, I think, between externally thinking people who only think of it's not bad to think of your survival, to think of the bills, think of going on that vacation, think of buying this new item, watching the next sports ball game. That there's nothing wrong with that if your brain is wired that way. Internally thinking people whose minds are always racing, they can't do that. But it's the thing that sucks is that I have it in my notes too. It feels like every walk in public sometimes is a forced humiliation ritual, right? It's forced on you by them, the public. And what's crazy about it is like the whole thing, the human race in general, they're in on this game subconsciously. They don't know it, but they play it. The goal is to one-up each other, especially men, most men, not all of us, and to prove their own existence, not even to themselves, but to other people. The same ones who could care less because they got their own shit happening to them.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, Chris?
No, it was a lot to take in, and I'm also smoking weed, so.
I know. Yeah, I've been trying to back myself away from, because chat, I've been wrestling with my dark side, and for years, now it did take a long time till getting to 32. It took me to get into my 30s to come on these realizations. I was talking to Chris about this a minute ago with our shadow. I haven't Jung. I'm not trying to sound like Jung's fucking. Remember, Jung's cold, but I have been studying my shadow and the negative aspects of ourselves, the things that humiliate us, the things that cause us anger, the things that we think that's not the real me. We've got to come to the realization that is the real me. That is the real you. You can't deny
but
that.
it is not all of you.
It's not all of you, yes, but if you only operate with the good half and the one half,
Yes.
You're only still operating as half of a person. There is no such thing, I think, as eternal evil. Only eternal good. Evil is subjective, and I yield my time. I apologize.
Well, there's no good or evil, really. It's all subjective.
But what about children? What about whenever you're around little babies and shit? They think nothing but, unless they've been subjected to bad parenting or society in a negative way. A child is the purest form of pure good, of unadulterated
But
trust,
here's the
of
thing about
unadulterated
that.
being
The
themselves.
child doesn't know they're being good. So when I walk through life, if I walk through life holding myself to my virtues or to high morals, am I really a good person, or am I just a monster behind the mask of morals and whatever else I fucking said?
Because you are a good person if you do these things without thinking, I'm doing this to be a good person. But being a good person or a bad person is subjective, like you said. We all have that monster within us. It's an animalistic in that we all have that beast within us. We all have that nature of the shadow within us, dude. And um it's how much of the shadow takes over you. Someone like my father, he's had the shadows completely taken. He's let his dark side completely take over him versus mastering his dark side. And now, as far as everybody being, it's hard for me to believe that evil, any, like, I do kind of lean towards what you're saying as far as good and evil being subjective, and there's not really an ultimate good and not an ultimate evil, because we're morally gray as human beings. Yeah, addiction is idolatry, but addiction means anything you long after. But when we love our children, the way I love my son is almost addiction. I love my son almost in a religious way that people in the Bible describe how they love God, as most parents do, I imagine. Is that
Yep.
idolatry? Yes. Anything. That's what's scary. That's what's crazy about this world that we live in today, and that's why I've been getting into Wallace a lot, Chris. Is because everything, like, we've gone back. Our mythology's been destroyed, and they know. See, the mass market, the people behind the tech, they know that we are longing, especially American men in this society in this day and age, because we live in the internet era. We live in the modern era where our culture is fragmented,
Yeah.
without any meaning. We were never taught any meaning. We were taught by fucking shitheads and addicts and broken people who never wanted to realize that they were broken and would never admit that they were. And even if they did, they would never want to fix it. But
Yeah.
so many of the people have been fragmented. I was watching the Chris Watts documentary last night. You want to talk about human darkness? Anyway, exactly. Your rituals, to be addicted, instead of being addicted to pain, instead of being addicted to suffering, if you find yourself being angry all the time, I find myself being angry a lot. I find myself hard to control my anger and lashing out and being impulsive. One of my addictions could be my anger.
How often do you cry? Are you sure that's not just sadness manifested as anger because you've been taught your whole life to be a man and to suck it up and to not cry, and then the only way that it has to come out is now through sheer blind rage? Or like,
Redirect that.
are you just not emotionally available?
There's nothing wrong with crying, honestly. They'll try to
No,
tell
yeah,
you that as
well,
a man. I know that you know that, but they try to tell us that as a man. I mean, it's a certain situation. You're not. I feel like as a man, you shouldn't be crying like, "Fuck, I can't pay my bills. Fuck, I can't." You're supposed to chin up, eyes ahead, fucking shoulders straight, and just deal with life. Like, you ain't supposed, whatever it
well,
is, whose problem it is, deal with it. But you're supposed to cry over how beautiful life is. You're supposed to cry over your children, cry over what you're grateful for. It's easier said than done. Because there's been many times I've shed tears, just thinking about what could have been with my own father. I feel as if it just makes me sad because I will always hold that love, but the fact that as a child you hold someone like that up to a certain standard and a hope that they will do something, and if you go decades without it, some people will never change.
now, did you ever talk with your father or
Try
about
multiple
this?
times,
Well,
multiple
then,
times, but you know what he does? Dismisses it, acts like it's
well,
nothing.
like
So
you
that
told,
shows.
write
Yeah.
that letter and send it, and then just that's it. You write that letter, Jerry. You put your dad's address on there, and you put everything in there, and then you send it and you let it go. Like that's it. Don't People owe you nothing, sir. I owe you
No,
nothing.
hell
The
no.
world owes you nothing. He's probably not going to give you an explanation. Don't expect one. But for yourself, write that letter, put everything you want to say in it. Everything, buddy. Put it in that envelope, send it out. And then if he calls you, he calls you. If not, if not. You've
No,
done
if he
your
calls
part.
me,
And
it'll
then
be
you can
for.
live with peace in that.
Sorry, I keep on interrupting you. That's my overcompensation wanting to talk whenever someone
That's
else is
okay,
talking.
dude.
I apologize. But the thing is, with that, I feel like that's kind of like it's like a reverse of Abraham and Isaac kind of thing. But instead of like not doing it, I actually go forth with sacrificing my own father spiritually for my life. And no, you don't, because I don't honestly. I don't. My father owes me nothing. I don't hold anything against him. If anything, I should be grateful to him and give him thanks in this letter.
Well, maybe a
Because
little.
because I know not because it gives me the value that I have for my son. You know, I don't just love him. He's like, that's my son. That's my child. I have to take care of him. I have to let him survive. No, that's my student. That's the extension of my flesh, of my soul, of my thoughts. He is his own person. Will have his own abilities. He will have his own creations. But it's my hope and my dreams that at the end of the day, in the back of his head, he will always hear his father's voice. He'll always remember the times we wrote these letters to each other. When we read the Odyssey together. When we read Narnia. When I pushed him for knowledge.
Well, that's cool, dude. I mean, I'm 29 years old, and I only have one picture with my father, and I don't even have the picture. Someone else has the picture. So,
you might have been saved a life of pain.
Well, I know how not to be as a father. Like, that's the only reason I'm still in Texas. I don't know if chat members and shit. You know, me and my wife are fucking 4 months separated. Well, ex-wife, I guess. I got to get used to that language now. And, you know, I've had the opportunity to move to Wisconsin and probably fucking quadruple my income just about. I'd be living a wonderful life for myself. You know, I would be able to send money, but I know that that's not what a child needs. A child doesn't. It's, you know, the old fucking saying, to be a parent's not a parent. You just have to be a parent. You have to fucking be
nobody's
there.
a parent to your
They
kid.
don't care.
Though. Remember that
My daughter doesn't care that I have no money, that I can't buy her McDonald's. My daughter cares that I showed up. I played with her. She was able to see her father, have fun and shit like that. And, you know, and until next time. But just throwing money at the problem, I'm not going to do nothing. Just leaving her so I can do better is fucking super selfish, and that's not right either.
Well, the fact that you're thinking about, you know, your daughter's thoughts and about her as a person, that's more than a lot of people like our parents' generation ever did. And they'll probably say, y'all are pussies. Y'all are fucking blaming all these other things. No, we're not. We're just openly discussing because, like, masculinity in America today is you don't talk about these kinds of things. You don't. You're just supposed to sit there and salute the flag and thank the soldiers and be like, oh, yeah, woo, yeah, fuck yeah.
Anyway, it's the consequences of my actions, dude. I don't blame anyone.
You can't blame anybody. Even if it is someone's fault, you cannot blame them because that's not going to help you. You as a man, the only thing you can control is no one can ever take away how you react. No one can ever take away how you control yourself in a situation. Not only you can.
Yeah.
They cannot take away what a man's meaning is if he has it. They can if you fucking do not. They cannot take away what truly is a man in his heart if he.
Yeah.
You know,
but you become anxious if you lose your self mastery.
Yeah, and it's even if it is like you can't blame like society or anything like that. Even if it is like society, all that shit, in my opinion, is just a result of So mythology, you know, we know about Zeus, all these ancient mythologies. Those are just. I forgot who I studied that said this, but they were saying that it is as human psychology put into stories.
Yeah, so you want me to? So Christianity is like through love. Buddhism is through peace. You know, Judaism's through money. No, that was.
Oh God.
No, yeah, that's how I look at it. Like, The
But like,
major
what
religions
else?
all operate
Sophia.
from a
But
specific set of
whenever,
divine emotions.
but you look at it deeper than just divine motions, though. Whenever Kronos, he was afraid of his children surpassing him, and that's why he ate his own children. But
Well, I was
Zeus, the youngest,
Kronos.
he left. He left and he grew up and secretly, and he went back and defeated his father. He defeated his past. And Zeus was somewhat more cruel in mythology, Greek mythology, than Kronos was. He did a lot of bad stuff. But he had absolute power.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think. And you look at that, it says, and a lot of the gods, these ancient gods mirror the rulers of those times. They weren't perfect. These guys were not Nebuchadnezzar or I don't really know any of the ancient Greek kings. I just named a Babylonian guy. But
Nebuchadnezzar, dude.
he's not a Greek, but these guys, they're the god like Baal, somebody like that would be like a thunder god, a god of wrath, a god of rage. A god of jealous anger, like that is representation of one of those ancient kings.
Well,
Someone
or
like Zeus being able to
you
fuck
know,
anybody he wants.
like I said, it's divine emotion because, like you say, all these people have gods for this, God for that, and to live under this god is to live your life X way. Like if you were to live your life under Dionysus or however you say it, you would party a bunch. If you lived under like Artemis and stuff like that, you'd probably be a hunter gatherer. Apollo, you'd be up before the sun and you'd always be outside and you would want to radiate that light. But who knows? I think it's all just control. That's the main tool for religion and mythology and stuff like that. They put a story in your head with an outcome, and then whenever you're in a situation in life similar, you think back to that and you're like, well, Hercules did the seven wonders. Maybe Chris could too. Or you're like, Echo spoke up and it ruined her life. I'm going to stay quiet and hide in my shell.
See, it could definitely be control, but it also could have started off as something where a couple of people back in ancient times, and it is control, but let me tell you how they perverted it from truly heroic shit that you could emulate to stuff that they could sell to you and use to control you. So in olden times, people there was like a lot of people there was hard survival back in those days. So whenever a truly exceptional man would come along and do some stuff, his qualities would ring through for generations, because for thousands of years,
Hutch, my thoughts exactly.
Thousands of years, these stories were told orally. They were not written down.
Yeah.
When people found out that they could control the narrative by writing it down, that kind of killed a little bit. It helped humanity in a way by helping us codify our thoughts and our experience, but it kind of damned us in a way too, because it helped us be able to alter our experience and be able to control the narrative of other beings, i.e. through religion and through mythology, as you stated.
Taoism and Buddhism, shit like that. That's what Chris has been big into lately. Like,
what up, Rayanne?
Be like water, guys. And when I say be like water, I don't mean like ever changing and nice to flow. I mean, rise from the top of the mountain, flow to the lowest valley, and nurture everything, regardless of what it is. Water feeds all life, whether that life is good, you say, or evil, you say. It nurtures the muck, and it keeps the beautiful tree alive. Be like water, friends.
That analogy. Let me show you that. I don't know if would that be an anecdote or an analogy. Let me show you. That just made me think of something I wrote to myself.
It's a verse from the Tao Te Ching. I fucking paraphrased it, but basically it's just, nurture and cherish all humanity, regardless of what they are. The fact that they're a bad person doesn't mean that you shouldn't also nurture them and try to. What is a good man except a bad man's teacher?
We need to study bad men. So
and what is a bad man except a good man's job? Like.
I've been kind of writing my philosophy down. What you said kind of rings true with what my whole will to becoming is. Like Nietzsche said, we wanted to become the Ubermensch. We each need to become our own Superman. We got to do it on our own. And that's why that story you sent me, that Zen story you sent me, reminded me of
Yeah.
Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Look, I'm
That-
not speaking good. I'm high. So let me tell you this real quick. This is a little bit, I've been as a confirmation of myself. If this rings true to anybody else, that's cool. If not, whatever. I wrote this for myself. I am me, no better nor worse than any man. The world is everything. Earth's beauty outlives the judgments of men. There are high highs and low lows. Though I may face ridicule and be spit on by the uninformed, they do nothing but help me cultivate my garden. And when you said something about water instead a second ago, that made me think of that. I will not let what is temporary govern what is eternal in me. So what is temporary on this earth will not govern what is going to be eternally in my mind and body until I die. Even if I can't control what's going on around me, I can control what's going on within me. Why would I give over to rage and punish myself if the moment that upset me is temporary? I believe we all want to become someone better than who we are, regardless of what life you're born into. We all have two selves fighting internally, regardless of how you present yourself externally.
Yeah, like someone said in chat, it's all up to the wolves you feed. You know, you can either feed into the wolves are just emotions. You can feed into your emotions. You could feel bad and let it run your life, or like you said, you can decide what you want to do, and then if you think anger is a good response, fucking respond. But you need to focus on responding more than reacting. That's been a big thing for me. I've noticed in my life I've reacted to a lot of situations instead of like responded to them.
It's like your mind thinks before your subconscious thinks, right? I know what you mean.
No, your subconscious is always active. Even while you sleep, your subconscious is
So
listening.
whenever you yell, what I mean by that, though, is whenever someone says something that makes you mad and you yell, fuck you, but then your mind says, why did you do that? You shouldn't have done that. Your subconscious does that, but your mind is the one that instantly says, fuck you to the person, whereas your subconscious
you got
is the
that
one that will break
backwards.
it down. Are you sure?
No, your subconscious is what said fuck you to the person, or why, because in that split second, you're not even realizing this, that all your past experiences in your subconscious told you to say fuck you to that guy, told you to get angry, told you to do that. And then your mind, after you made the decision, couldn't rationalize it and was, why did I do that? That wasn't the appropriate response because you reacted. You didn't respond. And when you react, you're using your subconscious.
So what is your unconscious? And I respect what you mean. So your unconscious is what would make you analyze what you did. I feel like we often react before we analyze.
Yes, and you use your mind to analyze, and you react with what's unknown. You react with what's automatically ingrained.
Okay, so your unconscious.
You're reacting.
Your unconscious is the standard term for the part of the mind that is actively kept out of awareness, while your subconscious is a more general, often popular term for mental process just below conscious awareness.
Yeah.
In the psychoanalytic theory, the unconscious is the deepest layer of the psyche that contains repressed, socially unacceptable ideas, desires, traumatic memories, and painful emotions.
Well, screaming "fuck you" at people is a socially unacceptable idea.
That is a socially unacceptable thing, but you got to understand, like, some people operate on different brain chemistry. It operates without deliberate access. That doesn't excuse their behavior. It operates without deliberate access and influences behavior through automatic patterns, instincts, and survival mechanisms. That's what it is not something you can recall on your own. It's revealed indirectly through slips of the tongue, dreams, or behavior. And I've been noticing that with some of my
reacting to say "fuck you" to people.
Yes. Now, this is the subconscious mind definition explained fully. This term is broader and less precise. In everyday or self-help context, it often refers to a mental activity that is not currently in conscious focus, but still influences thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. This can include habits, implicit memories, learned emotional responses, and automatic processing, e.g., flinching at a sudden noise, riding a bike without thinking, or saying fuck you to somebody. It's accessible if you direct your attention toward it, unlike the unconscious.
The
So
mind.
you can access your subcon. Your emotions aren't necessary. What up, KC Chip? I feel like my problem personally, I'm gonna break down some of my demons is like finding a balance with them all. What up, Patricia?
Yeah.
I do like where I've noticed working out. I did work out. I took a kind of a break day yesterday, but I have noticed like whenever I was working out for, and then whenever I've been doing my writing, my essays, my poetry, my letters to my son, it has been making me more calm because I am a person full of rage. You know, I
Oh
am a
no, yeah.
person.
Well,
That will never be able to leave. Because back in ancient times, you got to think, men, we had access to being able
I
to
can tell
join
you
war
the
bands. We had apprenticeships. We had to be able to join the priesthood. We had the community is more. But that our modern society is fragmented because of the abundance and options of pleasure that we have. And I yield my time.
yeah, and everyone wants to be niche, dude. I can like everyone wants to be niche, man, is really what it is. Everyone wants to have that thing that they have that makes them them, you know. And some people don't find it, I think. But just with
And they
like
never will. Some people never will.
to touch on water again, we're back to water. Water's everywhere, I guess. Just
It's
be
within
like
us.
water, dude. If you're in inner turmoil and you don't know what's going on, do me a favor, guys. Go to water and try to make it still. You take anything you want. You can paper anything. Try to make it still. You can't do it. You'll find that the more you try to make it still, you agitate it more. So like water, when you have these thoughts and these feelings and you're not sure on what to do, sit with it. Sit with it and be still. And just like a muddy puddle, the longer you sit with it, the clearer it becomes.
Not
And then
not
from there,
everybody can handle
you
that.
make your decision.
What would you have it like? Some people, even we spoke of Nietzsche, he lost his fucking mind spending 11, 12 years in isolation studying this shit.
Yeah, exactly. So you should already know you shouldn't isolate.
And it's, yeah, but when you start getting this knowledge, it kind of makes you feel, and when you start thinking existentially like this, you almost look in a nihilistic way at
Well,
the
yeah, that's
human race.
because you've lifted the veil for your first time, and it'll never go back down. Like you'll never not see things. The and this will make me lose it. Sorry. Enlightenment to me is just simply being at peace, being at peace with yourself, in yourself, with whatever it is. You know, you hold no one in high regard or low regard. You are on equal regard with everyone. You know, you don't hate people. You also don't love people. You are just being you and living in what they call the eternal now. Because, like they say, man, the past is history, the future's a mystery, today's a gift. That is why it's called the present.
I mean, but 100%. It's easy for people like us who've had. There are people who don't have any trauma in
Easy.
their life. They still, because we've had our trauma. It's because we know not to hold it back, let it hold us back. People like us who think internally. If there are a lot of people, external thinking people, right? A lot of normies are dealing with these same struggles. I feel bad for them because they don't know how to question these things.
Well, they say it's best to be the fourth horse. We're going to talk about horses real quick. The first horse runs full speed without the jockey, without the whip, without the lash. The second horse, the jockey has to push his heels in to get him to run full speed. The third horse runs full speed right before the whip cracks. The fourth horse only runs at full speed once the whip has cracked and has caused pain. So you can either be the first horse and run at it headstrong, or you can live your life as the fourth horse and wait for change until the bad happens, until the whip has cracked.
I just got to clear up Nietzsche's name real quick. You cannot be allowing, yes, you can't let that, you can't, Nietzsche, he was a staunch opponent of authoritarianism, egalitarianism. It is documented that he did not, he hated socialist ideas. He did not like the idea of level differences. He believed that he did not like, he was anti-egalitarian. He hated an idea of, he thought that communism was an aristocratic elitist vision of society
I mean,
masked as
I have a
people
controversial
fighting for
opinion on this
he
subject.
fought for you. But I believe in universal suffrage. I believe in welfare programs. I believe in working class rights. If somebody doesn't believe in
Well,
that, I'm sorry. I do believe in that.
you
I'm
know,
not. Yeah.
if you believe in worship in God or like Jesus Christ, you automatically don't think democracy is the best form of government. Like
Yeah,
you
I do
worship
believe
a
in God and Jesus
monarchy.
Christ. Yeah, but it's another. We're gonna go to Jung. His problem with Christianity was that they won't accept the duality of the soul.
What's
They want
Jerry's
to
problem with
they want to
Christianity?
destroy. What's my problem with Christianity
Fuck
is
Carl
that they're
Jung for
too
a second.
focused.
Let's hear
They're
some of your
focused.
thoughts.
Modern Christianity is focused too much on the outward. They want you to be perfect before you even go to church. Whenever you need to be broken before you go in there, they want you to be perfect, clean, polished. They want you to be without sin before you go into many of these churches today, and that's what pushes a lot of people away from this church. But that's a part, in my opinion, that's a part of the testing as well. That's a part of
The barrier to entry, so to say.
yeah, these people that these holier than thou, these Pharisees and these Sadducees, these
That's because
modern
they're the
day
first horse.
yeah, and it does say that many Christians will go to hell.
Well, I can't tell you where anyone will go, but
The Bible says it, but yeah, but a lot of people say they're Christian, but don't live their life like a Christian is. Like a Christian is somebody that does question, that does find himself. A Christian is somebody that is constantly in path with David. If you read David in Psalms, he's constantly conversing with God. It's not just a here I
yeah,
am,
songs to
I
God.
submit myself completely to you, I am nothing. It's like I know I am nothing, but I am in awe of the beauty of being nothing compared to you being everything. And that is the kind of relationship I want to have with God. And my problem with Christianity today is that the modern church, regardless of denomination, does not push that true oneness with God. It pushes a oneness with church doctrine. It doesn't push a oneness with biblical doctrine and with Christ-centered theology. And that is my problem with the modern church. And that is why many people step away from the understandably so. I love God and
Well,
Jesus,
that's
but I could
about
see why people would
my
step away.
experience as well.
I could see why they would, but we got to be, that goes to also not allowing others to judge you. When I worry about judgment, when I worry about humiliation, I often look to the story of whenever Jesus carried his cross, when he was beat, spit on, when they
I
told
think
lies to him about him in front of the public.
the best journey to find the divine is a personal one.
Modernity is the problem, though. It's easy to say destroy the electricity, wipe out the TV. I fucking hate having a TV. How many options do we need for infinite pleasure? How many click this, change to this, go to this? Is none of this shit you go to is gonna actually fucking help you find yourself. And that is what's fucked up about this modern society. They know that people are actively in search of themselves, but they monetize it and pervert it and pimp it out like a whore. They pimp your desire as a human being out like a whore to be produced and sold on market.
Yeah, it's all about what you give your energy to, man. If another problem, if no one had a self or whatever this thing is we call I think the world would be a much better place.
I think the world will be.
But
I'll let you finish. My bad.
also think because we are mortal, we know that there is also a level of self-preservation that will always be there. At least in the unconscious. Because like, no one wants to die and a lot of people are scared of it, but it's no different of a natural process as catching a cold or waking up in the morning.
Yeah, I don't want to sound dark and bleak as I'm not nihilistic, but if you think about it, that's one of the. Anyway, I'm not going to go into the details of how that's like with the way that this world is
Not?
becoming consumed by consumerism and just David Foster. I was watching this clip of David Foster Wallace saying this. We're going to need some kind of switch in us that will cut off unadulterated pleasure because we're going to be too. Our pleasure, our drive for pleasure, is pushing us too far in a destructive way. I feel like.
Yeah. Is that what you're chasing though? Are you chasing pleasure?
Me personally, I'm chasing legacy and continuation of my son, and I'm not putting like a savior thing into him, but I know I know what not to do whenever I know what someone doesn't need for their development, and I know how to recognize an individual. I know how to recognize somebody's individuality, and I know how to like speak to them on that level. And I want to. That's what the will to become the cultivate. It takes generational scars. Trauma happened 300 or 400 years ago, and we don't stay stuck in this trauma. But it is a psychological thing that affects fucking my dad beating me, but not as bad as his mom putting cigarettes out on him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the cycle continues.
Not as
and then
bad
one
as
day it'll
her
be
mom
broken.
fucking beating her with a bag of soap. You know, they were close to the late medieval ages back in those days. People like my great grandparents born in 1911. They're like just now got cars and airplanes. So they were living. So we're only about 150 years from a late medieval period mind state. Think about that.
Yeah, everything was still horse and carriage, dude.
Strict
Industrial
authoritarianism is
Revolution, I
what it
think, happened
was.
like late 1800s.
Yes. But it was a strict authoritarian, almost paterfamilias. In ancient Rome, paterfamilias meant the father, the oldest man of the house, had the right to sell, kill, do whatever he wanted to his family.
That's crazy.
And now it was that, and that was the authoritarian late medieval structure, and it might come from. I don't believe any of that comes from Christianity. I think that comes from paganism.
Well, I don't think any of that comes from Christianity, but like people, you got to understand. Instead of looking at Christianity as a religion here, look at it as a tool real quick. You can use that to definitely make yourself the lord of your house. I'm the top of the hierarchy because like the book, he's the top of the hierarchy. But that's probably harder to do nowadays, but back when everyone was dumb, there wasn't like I wonder there's probably people today that still don't know how to read or write in their 50s and 60s, but imagine how more common that was even just 200 years ago.
But what's crazy is more people know how to read and write today than they did back then. But more people back then knew how to read and write with purpose and meaning and could tell what the other person was trying to convey in the message of their novel or their poem or their letter. Whereas today, we've lost touch as a modern people. We're devoid of knowing true art and beauty and meaning.
That's not a group thing, though. The fact that Plato and Socrates could write this was because that they worked themselves. It's if you took old fucking Barbara from the Burbs back in 1300, she's gonna sound just as stupid as Barbara from the fucking Burbs right now. Except right now we just have more access to information, so we can convey the information, but very rarely do people form like
yes, but that's because
even myself, it's regurgitated
because we have
paraphrased and it's repeated and then eventually it's believed. That's how you change your life, Sherry. That's the fucking secret, guys. Instead of whenever you fuck up that small mistake at work, instead of your oh my god, I'm a dumb.
You got to know the context behind this shit that you study, though. You can't just have unregulated, like swallow everything you read and not like know the meaning behind it. Back in old times, that whenever people were close, people didn't have we have all this access to knowledge more than anybody ever did, but we don't have the grounding and the structure to appreciate it and to truly learn from it.
I'm going to stop you right there, because what are we doing right now? Truly appreciating it and learning it. Yes.
It's up to. I feel it has. Do you not? I'm sorry, I keep on yelling.
You want to change the world before you change yourself.
No, you need to change yourself. Fuck the world. If they change along with you, fuck it. If they don't,
well, the world's not going to change.
Yourself. No, it's not. But
it's going to stay about the same. It's been for the last 6,000.
Being a good dad, how your children are in the future, that will affect somebody. being nice, smiling at somebody, letting somebody, any kind of thing like that, that changes the world. You don't have to put a book out to change the world. You don't have to become a huge YouTuber to change the world. To change the world, it's as simple as waving at somebody. It's as simple as holding the door open for somebody. It's as simple as listening to something your kid has to tell you. And you can change the world just by doing that. You don't have to be, you don't, yeah, the world is what you see. I mean, let's say this whenever we're talking, like, to me, this is not the world, but the world is everything that I see around me. I know and I'm speaking more in a metaphysical way, not in a grounded physical reality.
Well, yeah,
so I know what you mean by like all the people. But my soul is connected to all of these people, all of these animals.
Of course.
Regardless of anything, we are connected at the end of the day.
Yes, the red strands of fate tie us all together.
And at the end of the day, we're not. Man can become, but that doesn't mean just let somebody walk over you, you know. But at the end of the day, we can either become help to one another, we can become indifferent to one another, or we become tormentors to one another. Yeah, and that's why I love about you, Chris, like more than like, as far as all my friends I grew up with, I just got to tell you, I appreciate you because you're the only one that talks about this kind of shit.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Well, I'm not scared of a little deep think, man. I fucking stared into the void and it fucking looked back and I laughed, you know, like that's it. That's all it was. Like when you abandon fear, you conquer everything. It's simple as that. The second I wasn't scared to go talk to that pretty girl at the bar, I walked over, I sat down, I said hello. She said, "Get the fuck away from me." I acquired information. I didn't get angry. I didn't get sad. I didn't kick myself in the nuts thinking, "Oh man, Chris is an ugly piece of shit." I was like, okay, we know next time.
And you use that as a building opportunity. See, a lot of people and a lot of men, I want to hold us men accountable. We run the world, like James Brown says, so we need to be held more accountable for our actions and what the fuck we cause. Now, you are good, like that signals to me a good man. He didn't take the rejection from that woman as fuck this bitch, the fucking whore. He took it as like, well, I'm changing my approach, you know. But you took a lot of men would never have walked up to her.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's because fear and attachment.
It's the enemy
are the two worst things to have.
Yeah.
That's because fear keeps you down and attachment keeps you steady. Steady is not the natural state. The natural state is like water, ever changing. When the stream is flowing clear, it's still flowing. It's not sitting. It's just all going with the motion. And even in all the turmoil and the obstructions, it runs clear and beautiful. But when you're scared to do that, you don't flow. When you're attached to something, you don't flow. So you're damning yourself basically, and you're I guess crapping your vibe, dude. You're blocking your energy, man. Let go, guys. Don't be scared, and nothing's permanent anyway, so why try to keep it? Let it be.
Well, it's hard to let go. I know it's to say something is hard is almost going against the topic in a way, but it would be a lie to say something's not hard, like letting something go.
Well, letting go is only half the attachment. Here's another question. Why did you grab?
Why did you grab? Probably
did you grab? You know,
to satiate some kind of ego-driven insecurity.
Why
that
did you?
I needed to overcompensate for. I imagine.
You know, like why did you pick the flower instead of let it grow beautifully? You know, because now that you've picked the flower, it's dead sooner. Hippie bullshit like that.
Rush. That's if you rushing all the time, it's an overcompensation. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, that's okay, dude. I'm saying hippie bullshit, dude. It's generalized nonsense that is easily applicable to all sorts of.
And it's crazy. It's generalized. I wouldn't say it's. I would romanticize calling it generalized nonsense, because if you think about it, this is applicable. This is applicable to real life situations. Pussy philosophers in fucking Princeton on the West Coast and the ones on the East Coast, they know these academic philosophers, they know They know they don't. A lot of these academics, they haven't lived the street life of being beaten up, of being betrayed, of almost being killed, of being robbed, of being addicted. They haven't been around addiction. They haven't seen their father smoke meth. They haven't seen a man beat a woman. They don't know the true darkness of Southern Gothic shit like we do. So
But
I
that
feel
don't
like
mean they can't see the light.
they do see the light in there. That's what the human experience is. We all see it in our own way. But we find people we see ourselves
I
in, and
figure
that's why we latch
there's
on to.
two types of philosophers in the world, and that's really it. You're going to have your people that carry themselves accordingly with how the world says they should. They're their perfect press. They wear their lab coat to the office every Monday and philosophize at their desk. And then there's the philosopher you'll find at the bar, chain smoking cigarettes, drunk,
Fucking
can tell you
Charles
the secrets
Bukowski.
of life, but can't make you see them. Like, what is it they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
And, it's crazy that we always use analogies like animals and like a horse to water for a human being that will be stubborn, or we use like a wild cat as a wild person, because we psychologically we don't separate ourselves from animals. We want to think we superficially on the surface act like we are not animals, but that's why we use
Ultimately, we
colloquial
are.
terms like fucking leading a horse to water, because we are nothing but animals driven by our desire. But the animals don't
I mean,
talk
that's
that we
if
are better
it's
than
not
them
true.
only because of this. They are
We
not
speak.
talking how we are speaking. Yes. If
Yeah,
they did
they're
speak, it's like in clicks and like dolphin
more of a
noises. It's not.
physical. Like they do a lot of bowing and yielding, and showing the belly or the vulnerable parts to say, "Hey, I'm showing you my vulnerable side. I don't want to fight." Rather, as like that's why you don't smile at chimpanzees, because smiling at chimpanzees is a sign of aggression. That's uh, we're one of the only species on the earth that shows their teeth as a sign of pleasure.
Do you think we're one of the only species capable of deception?
No, definitely not. A
Like we're
thousand
like
percent not.
when I
There's
let me expound
coexistence
on
out
that
there.
real quick though. Please
Let's
let
hear
me
it.
extend the question real quick. So being as the only species capable of deception, when I say that, I mean this. Are we the only ones capable of deception by fiending friendliness, by seeming friendly, by tricking, by gaining long-term trust,
Well,
just
yeah,
only to
because
betray somebody? That's what I mean. That's what.
I'll put it to you like this: the only I and here's this is I'm no fucking biologist or animal person, whatever they're called. I think their motivations are different. And animals' motivations is basically just to continue living and reproduce. So it's gonna either be food, show me to water, or like let me get them cheeks. But so when they deceive, and they probably don't even really deceive, there's no ulterior motive. There's no I'm doing this so that I can trick you or haha funny or or like fucking show you to my girlfriends that I made this guy cry or shit like that. They're just surviving. They're doing what they would need to do to live. So like I can't think of any examples, but I'm pretty sure like coexistent or co-reliant species like those little fish that follow the shark at any moment could fucking whop and eat the fish, but there's no deception as like, you know, I'm being your friend so I can fuck your wife type shit. That's or like, invest in my business venture. I'm gonna disappear with all your money. There's nothing like that in the animal kingdom.
This all circles back to addiction. Do you think people can become addicted to things like that, to surface level things like let me
Oh, a
try to
thousand
fuck my
percent.
friend's wife, or let me try to prove my strength?
Well, I'll put you like
Let me get
this.
into my
When
rage.
I would if I'm not a terrible person. I'm not the best person. But like if I was to be in my mind and I had a thought that this is how it was going to go out, that, I was going to trick this guy and I was going to be able to make like, a couple $1,000s off of him. And it happened and I made that money. I'm not against saying that I think I would feel good a little bit about it and it would reaffirm that behavior to deceive and lie to people. But then it's all about how you are personally. like what standards you hold yourself to, shit like that. Like there's some people that will take from you, that will take whatever you want, whatever they want, they will take it. They at any cost, they will take it. And then there's
And
people that will give. So there's people that, yeah, I see you don't have here. Here. I know because people it's deep. There's a lot of reasons to why you could either be a good person or a bad person, or you could just be a person and you make your decisions based on what you thought was right in the moment with the information you had available, and then you cope however you need to.
see, that hits home. Everything, the way you said, it's weird. Everything psychologically to me goes back to my son, because what you said reminded me, versus being a good person or evil person, being just a person.
Well, I'll put it to you
In
like this,
touch with your
Jerry.
good and evil, a hybrid. He said, I feel like I'm a hybrid good boy and a hybrid bad boy. And I said, such is life, son.
Well,
such is life.
amen, brother.
Like,
That's
it's like,
but if you look at yin and yang and you zoom in close enough to where they meet, like you said, there'd be a little gray area,
you gotta have that middle, yeah. You can't deny yourself. That's something I spent years denying. Like I think my addiction has been to myself.
We're all
My addiction
divine.
is, we are all divine, but with divinity comes reverence, right? Like, let me read. I wrote
I
this
can't even
letter
tell you what
to my
reverence
woman.
means, Jerry.
Reverence is almost like divine. It's similar to addiction or to worship. Reverence is like to hold something in a
Well, I'm probably going to
high
butcher
regard,
this
in a
name.
holy regard.
Oh, well, I think it's Krishna, like Krishna Murray or some shit like that. I don't know the god's name, but the god of love and like Hinduism, the person who made the earth with like the dance of life and stuff like that, also has a dance of destruction. It's the duality of it all. And even in the divine, there's duality, there's good, there's evil, there's the ones that just kind of lounge around and do their thing. But that all reflects back in people as well. And then yeah, are we good? Are we evil? Or are we all just divine? Gods of our own little world, gods of our own little universe, trapped behind the eyes and in between the ears.
Studying this shit will make you. But you can't. If we were as gods, though, no human being is as a god. I've never really been able to follow into that philosophy.
Are
Is
you
because
sure, dude? But you
a
were made
god,
in the image of God. How are you not godlike in the slightest bit?
I am
Then you're
godlike.
divine.
Have you ever studied? You ever studied the Divine Comedy at the beginning of it? How Satan and them there. He's
No,
not rebelling against God out. He's rebelling because he believes it'd be better to live in absolute destruction of the universe than to submit to something he doesn't believe is right, even if he knows it is right. And that is why we humans carry that same essence, I believe, and that's why I don't think we're godlike, because we don't carry the capacity. We carry that capacity. We don't carry that same capacity of not of just pure knowledge. Like God doesn't, regardless of what you call God.
yes.
There's still Neoplatonism. It's the source. Everything goes back to the original one first thought. In Hinduism,
yes.
they call it the symbol of the
Yep, and in school, I don't know if you believe this, they told us, matter can never be created nor destroyed. So let's go back to the beginning there real quick. If it all came from one central point, and we can't be created nor destroyed, our essence, our energy just flows. You were there at the beginning. You were with the divine when it all started. And then here we are, 6, 7 million, billion, gajillion years later, and our energy has flown into consciousness. It's flown into a vessel. And now we think that we aren't that.
But we're
But
not living in the time of Alan Watts and of Plato. We're
what do you
living
mean
in the
the
modern
time?
internet
The time
age.
is
Our
irrelevant.
time, it is relevant because we have never
It's
before
going to
has
be times
infinite
of the
knowledge
times,
been in
as
front
long
of
as time
us.
is time, Jerry. Can
But
you
this
get that real quick?
time is the times, yes, but these times are unprecedented.
Well, what about
ways the infinite knowledge, but the lack of attachment to the knowledge, the infinite pleasure, the infinite, like we have. So I believe that I'm trying to get away from irony and sarcasm because I believe that irony and sarcasm are destroying the human soul. Because
Well,
we
then you'll
use
never
irony and
laugh.
sarcasm to hide what we truly mean, and that all connects
You got to
to
laugh
us.
at the irony.
But but that takes. And this is just my opinion. I'm not saying believe in this. I'm not saying this. I'm saying in the chat. But it's we mass. Everything is a contradiction.
Well, yeah.
And that also takes away from that. It's because the irony and sarcasm, I think, adds to that contradiction.
Or is it the duality of our nature to be both the good and the bad, to be both the valley and the mountain, and all things between?
That might be subjective to each person.
It
Not
is though, and
everybody's going to rise
that's
up
why
out
not
the valley.
everybody realizes it, Jerry.
Not everybody's going to get to the mountain. So a lot of people will get halfway up the mountain and fall off, then climb
Well,
back up
yeah,
again,
they
start
get
over.
3 feet from the gold mine and stop digging because they've been digging for years and haven't found gold.
Yes, dude, you're like helping me. You're helping me formulate my philosophy, and I hope that
But
I'm
then,
also
but
helping
that asks
you.
the question: why are you digging? Are you digging for gold, or are you digging to dig? You know, and then you just get lucky and find gold. I can show you the analogy where the guy, he found a couple small pieces after digging for a couple days, dug for months after, didn't find anything, sold his house, sold all his car, got that money, dug even more, didn't find nothing, realizes, okay, it's time to give up, sells it to the company. Company goes in, digs 3 feet, strikes gold mine, makes millions of dollars. All this man had to do was dig 3 more feet. But inside, he decided to fail. He decided to walk away. He decided to quit. He decided not to venture further. Our only goal in life really is to venture further. Like, you shouldn't want to sit stagnant and do nothing. Like, that's not a life to me. Like,
A lot
if
of people are
if
living
that's
that
what you
way
chose,
now.
dude, that's cool. You know, some people are happy like that, doing the mundane things every day over and over and over. And then they get to 60, 50 years old. They've realized they've worked all their lives for these things that these people said that once you get them, you'll feel great. You'll do it, you know, and then they do. They work for 30 years. They get that promotion. They get to the spot where everyone said that that's where they need to be. And then they don't even know why they got there because everyone else just told them to. Society said this is where we're supposed to be. Get there, then you get there and you feel like you've cheated yourself because you worked at the office for 40 years and you never got to really experience anything aside from your mundane to and fro. Your 8 hours at the desk or your 8 hours on the side or anything. And then you have plenty of nice little trinkets that make you feel good. You have a pretty house, you have a pretty car, but like inside, you wonder what it was all for. You never found your purpose. You took someone else's and then you ran with it. And it might make a good life. It could make a very full life. It could make a very happy life. But for some, and like this is probably the way it is for a lot of people, for the masses, for the millions, well, those billions of us now that, they get to 40 and they followed it. They did the thing, they took that job, they got that promotion, they found that girl, they settled down, and then they realized at 60 they didn't really live. They did what everyone else told them.
They never looked to find the real them. That's why people like Hitler and Napoleon, they conquered a lot of things like the world, but these guys, they never conquered their inner demons, I feel like. So when you were saying that a second ago about how the guy he got to about 3 feet from the gold and he stopped, and then the company came
Mm-hmm.
behind and found it, that reflects to me that he laid the path, he did the work, and someone else is following him and found it. And what you're saying, like, yeah, you failed. Even though you failed, you inadvertently, this is how I look at fatherhood, and this is how I look at the
Well,
cultivation of breaking the trauma. Even if you don't make it to the top of the mountain, you made it 3 feet away, you can help someone else make it through your experiences you had on your trip up the mountain.
well,
So
he
someone
didn't.
else will make it up close to you.
Don't
That's
don't
how I
take the
dissect
word
that to
failure
myself.
because I did use failure. Failure is a bad word, then I guess he
There's
didn't.
no
He didn't
failure in
fail.
trying.
He gave up. He stopped trying. He abandoned the dream. He abandoned the mission. He could have very well made it to the top of the mountain. You know what's crazy about walking up a hill, Jerry? If next time you walk up a hill, just think about this. It's going to carry you up it. You're not always just walking up the hill. The hill carries you up it a little bit. Every so often, it picks you up and it keeps you going, and then boom, you're up the hill.
No, I thought I'm about to.
Yeah, he didn't die. He didn't hurt himself. He didn't become unable to do the digging. He simply stopped digging. He got discouraged inwardly and stopped digging. Don't stop digging. It's not about the gold or anything. It's about the effort. Hippie bullshit, guys. Welcome. That's what I call this when I talk to people. Hippie bullshit. Because if I'm saying it's all yada yada, then the yada yada I'm saying is also yada yada. Rada rada. Ah, what a wonderful life, guys. I hope you're all doing well, man. I've been pacing back and forth the entire time because I like to feel cool when I ponder the thoughts, the ideas. Oh, I fucking blew my car up too, actually. That's been a big thing, helping me with like, be okay, let it go, don't worry, because holy shit, guys, I was smoking like 2.5 packs a day. Like, I was freaking out about how I'm gonna get back and forth to work, see my fucking kid, keep my job and shit like that. But it all worked out. My car's still broken, but I'm making it. It's pretty easy. We're chilling. I'm trying to find a fucking coat. I got a new place to live, dude. I'm surrounded by people who love me. Well, I say surrounded, but yeah, there's people who love me, and it's always like that.
You just gotta
where you look, man.
It's step by step.
It's all about perspective.
Can I tell you something I've noticed?
Thank
you, Vanessa. Yeah, we get real over here. Or show and tell. I'm sorry, it hurt. She called show and tell, but but so what I appreciate about you, and that's what I've noticed. I've kind of analyzed you. As like you,
what a
dude.
Loser.
You like, no, dude. You're like compared to other people I know who might wallow in their own pity or might, they give up. They give up. You know what I'm trying to say? You don't, dude. You don't, and like you have that same mythopoetic soul that I do. I recognize that within you, brother. And
that's because I'm the fourth horse, man. I didn't learn all this until the whip was cracked, and now it'll be with me forever.
Yeah, people we have to be taught. Like me personally, I did not do good in school as a kid. Now that I'm a man, now that I'm an adult, studying and shit, and trying to learn, get my GED, learning literature, learning math, trying to fucking be a better person, Like I want to do that shit so that way I can say to myself, I don't care about nobody else. We are educated better by ourselves and amongst peers, like how we do now. Or whenever I'm talking to Hutch, or I'm talking to Backwoods, I'm talking to any of these guys about some deep shit like this. Whenever we're like directing our minds to something we want to learn, to something that we, without having the scorn of a teacher, we do better. And would it not have been better as children to have some kind of teaching methods as how we do now, or were we not ready until we were men?
Well,
I appreciate you, buddy.
You learned more from the teachers you respected, didn't you? You learned more from the teachers that didn't disrespect you when you failed, didn't you?
I don't think I ever had any teachers, but like maybe whenever I was a little kid, but whenever I got to like 7th, 8th grade, none of them teachers ever gave a fuck about me.
Well, see, I was kind of that gray kid. Like I had potential, I guess. No offense to you, Jerry. I'm not saying you didn't have potential, but when they looked at me, they saw a little potential. So like they cared a little bit. And like I could definitely see how like the teachers that gave a fuck, I was more eager to learn from, and I like retained their information better, even though
You know what's crazy? My favorite teachers were Coach Smith, not Coach. Who was that one black teacher that taught social studies and geography and history?
Yeah, that's Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith was my favorite teacher, even though he didn't teach his class and his subject and the way he spoke. He was, because I would always read those social studies and books, and he was always like, "Damn, Jerry, you only do good in my class." Like,
see?
But I'm like, this is the only thing I give a fuck about. I did like the reading and writing shit as well,
so
but it
there's
didn't stick
be
with me as
interest.
much. It's got to be some interest in it. But the other two, because you know me, dude, I was not like Skylar as a kid, but whenever I was
The other ones,
very
yeah.
outspoken child, I
Yeah.
was a very outspoken
Well,
kid. I was
fuck,
very
dude. If
nobody
you
was
find
ever
yourself
there
angry
to.
now, imagine how you were at 13, Jerry.
But back
When
then,
you
I
were
did.
feeling all that shit fresh for the first time as a little boy.
I
You know,
masked it
I
better.
remember very well while little Chris being alone in his room asking himself why daddy wasn't there, you know, like daddy's not around and shit like that. So
See,
if it was affecting you like that, and I don't know you, Jerry, I don't know if you ever took the time to sit with your little child inside you and just ask him how he's doing, you know, but or like what's in your life that he would like to see more of, you know, and did that. And I did
I've
that. And now,
give me a fist bump
you
on the
know,
screen.
I've had abandonment issues. That was my thing. I would get
You're
a little
probably suffering from a
inconvenience.
father wound.
Well, yeah, Jerry, did you not just listen, dude?
I know that's
Jesus.
what I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry. I'm
just
sorry. I'm sorry.
told you.
I'm sorry. I'm suffering from one as well. We don't suffer for it continuously, but we do have the father wounds. We're not pussies. Continue, Chris. Sorry.
Well, no, yeah. Well, I am a pussy. That's okay. I've been scared of all sorts of stuff, dude. I am everything and nothing at
That's a
all.
man. That's masculine. That is a man. I don't give a
But
fuck what someone else, some side like, oh, the man don't.
yeah, dude, I had abandonment issues for a long time. A little inconvenience would
Well,
happen.
you
You
know
know,
how to
my
fight
friend
too.
would stop talking to me, or like, you know, my girl would ghost me, or and shit like that, and it would fuck with me. And it attributed a lot to my self worth, and you know, like I valued my worth on how others found me useful. Like I guess, like if I was able to provide some use, I was able to give myself some meaning, some validation that you know I actually am useful. I am worthy of love and care. I am, you know, important because they need me. And then I'll tell you guys, the day come where they didn't fucking need me, and now you know, we learned to love myself without all that, to realize that I didn't need to be useful to be loved. I needed to be loved, and then that's useful. I don't wonder why, you know, they left me alone, or, you know, daddy wasn't there, you know, or like why I'm not getting text back or anything. We just chill, man. We've found the center, I guess, and we're trying to stick to it.
Those two paths, though, you had the sin of not knowing your father, but you also
Well,
could
that's
have
not my
avoided the
sin though.
sin. That's not your sin; it's his sin. But you could have avoided his sin of also being a
Well,
negative father that
I don't know what
influences and
it says.
terrorizes you.
What is
It's
it?
like, yeah, one that
Judge
doesn't.
not the father off the sins of the child, and judge not the child the sins of the father, or some shit like that.
It says that curses can be passed down 7 generations. I don't think it means literally. I think it means psychologically by how
Well,
parents act to each other. But I remember my dad smoked weed with me, and I was like 13 years
we
old.
could
That's
very
not
well be
cool.
cursed, but I'm not
That's not
cursed
my dad.
anymore, at
I
least.
remember that. Do you remember our parents would like smoke weed with us, drink with us? That's not cool. Like we thought it was cool back then, but like that's not cool, dude. I don't mean
No,
about my
yeah.
that it's not your kids. They are that my son. I don't want my son to be my buddy or my. He's my son, but he's my student and I'm his mentor as well as his father and his son. Like he's like, and eventually, and he becomes a man. I want him to become almost as a colleague with me.
Well, you're the template on how he's going to act as
And
long as you're
he's
around. He's
I'm,
watching how you treat people. He's watching how you treat his mother, his siblings, all these people, and he's going to base his actions off of you.
I already see it coming out in him the
Yeah.
way that he speaks. He already speaks him. He when he's reading the Odyssey, he remembered the next day the Lotus Eaters in it because they got to the first place they stop at after leaving Troy. He loved the Trojan horse too, but whenever they stopped at the island after Troy, it was full of a bunch of lazy ass people sitting around eating these golden lotuses, and some of Odysseus' crewmen had got tricked and were sitting there. Odysseus went there, had to take his men out, but the Lotus Eaters are saying, "Eat these lotuses," and then they escaped. The next
Mm-hmm.
day, my son he grabs some kind of little berry, brings it up to me, said, "Look, I got a lotus. You're gonna be lazy," and that stuck out to me. That was a proud father moment for me because I feel like it's natural storyteller and someone that loves like Because when you read something, you're not just reading something. It's something another human being put down, their emotions, their history, what they were doing at that time, into word. And it's an exchange of thought between two human beings. And I could recognize my son. He felt that spark of the exchange within him in that story. And that was the proudest moment of my life so far. But it's a sin to be a father, though, too. Even if you are a good
yeah,
father.
because you corrupted a daughter. If you want to get deep, dude. I mean, but
See, you have a daughter, so you walk a different path than me as a father to a
well,
son. It's still
yeah,
the same, but it's still somewhat differently. It's somewhat differently. Like
I still struggle with that.
we need a good father. I just remember my dad. Like, I love my mother. I don't have my mother. I remember I didn't meet her until I was 12. She's always encouraged me. She didn't even. She's a pot smoker, but she didn't like the idea of me smoking weed when I was a teenager. She was against that. She always encouraged me exploring history, reading, all these things, and trying to be a better person. Whereas when I went to my dad, which was a mistake, might not have been a mistake, because I wouldn't have met you guys. All these paths lead to one thing or another, meeting to where my son was born eventually. But my dad, he would be more like, fucking, the fuck are you talking about? Like, no help, no life advice.
Figured out, buddy.
That gives you a psychological wound as a male. And this is, I'm not speaking from like, and I'm not talking in a Gen X or a boomer or any antiquated cultural norm. I'm talking about a millennials, internet age
Just as
man
a father
in
to a
America.
kid, or like as a parent to a child, that's a timeless relationship.
But a father and a son is, to me, but a father and child is a timeless relationship. But the relationship between a father and a son is biblical. It's almost like God and
Well,
humanity.
yeah.
It's like
I
it's,
don't know what movie it's from, but "Boy Needs a Father" that runs through my head all the time.
but it's to have a bad father, which is something I never want to. I can't. I'm not gonna. That's what I told my son. I'm not gonna read the letter out loud what I said to him, but I will never act like I know everything. I will never act like I'm better than my son.
I mean, I
I will
can tell you
never
the
act like
blessing
he's
of a
not even
bad father.
human.
That's like really the only thing I can, you know how not to be. You know, my blessing of a bad father was I knew not to get involved with hardcore drugs such as like amphetamines and like
A lot of
cocaine
people.
and substances like that, because that is quite literally the only reason I do not know my father. And I can respect him a little bit because it's selfish ultimately, but as an addict, you need to get better, and that's what he did. He went and he got better, and
See it
he
being
hasn't
true.
relapsed since. And I'm not his best fucking friend, and I'm not trying to be his best friend. That's his job. I tried to reach out as a kid. I learned to live without that attachment, that thing there. So it's up to him to mend that now.
And you'll
But you
use
know how
this
not
with
to
your
be
own
because
father.
of your father. And that's good. That's the good of the bad dad.
You see what Hutch just that answer that kind of Hutch just said something. I feel like he said kind of answers it, but answer it again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. Him, and then choosing yourself. He chose himself ultimately. It's selfish to me, but to him, that's probably the best thing he could have done, was go and get better. And that's why I don't hate him anymore. There was a little Chris, and even when I met him, I did not like the motherfucker. But now after 20 years has passed and shit like that, I've come to understand that he had to do what he had to do to make himself better.
It almost
And
feels
it
like
and it
blasphemy.
was the best lesson to give me.
Do you not feel like it's blasphemy though? Like, we don't hold nothing against the fathers, but we're looking. I'm gonna phrase this in a philosophical way that rings true to me. To me,
Let's
a
hear it.
father that abandons his children is blasphemy. Because your children, that should be one of the addictions, one of the worships that you lean in your life. And anything that you worship, anything that's sacred, is something that worship is not something that you show through speaking about it and talking about it. That your worship and your addiction is proved through actions.
Yeah. So
As hence,
like, Yeah, well, actions speak louder than words is basically, and your actions as a father are pivotal, my man. So important because like Hutch said, dude, I've I've learned more from my father just from him leaving than I probably would if he stayed. I would have learned how to do drugs and I would have learned how to be a bad guy, you know. Apparently he used to keep like a sawed-off shotgun and the umbrella. You know how like some people had like the
Mhm.
umbrella thing by the door with all the umbrellas, and he used to keep a shotgun in there, and he would like sell crack through his window out of the trailer park type shit. And he was, I don't I think this is bullshit. And he
Let me
was
just
just
say,
like telling stories. But apparently he was a Latin king, but the man is white as rice. But
well, a
he's
lot of
got
drug
like the
people,
tattoos for it though.
a lot of people who do drugs, and a lot of people who had traumatic lives, they overcompensate by telling lies about
Yeah.
themselves. But
Which
you
is
don't.
probably true.
It's not a blame a father. It's a prove. It is a fact. It's not. I don't blame my father. It doesn't hold. I no one. Me and Chris are
I
not.
did.
I'm speaking for you. I did for. I mean, I honestly, I shielded it. I always tried to act like it was what, because I think of things in a
And that
mythic
made it
way. I've
worse, huh?
always felt like it was from like I'm always the sin of my father is like to me because I look at like we have our family bloodline comes from something great because I've realized that no one is great. We're all human beings, but a part of the wound
We're
created
all
that I've
great.
dealt with is this though. I feel like he betrayed 1,000-year lineage. I'm sorry, you know, I'm hypersensitive, Hutch. I apologize. I didn't mean to be like, but and that's what made me feel kind of like more resentment to him than anything. Than all the lies was the feeling that he did not live up to the potential that I
Well,
feel like
Jerry,
my father and man should be, based on
well,
what you know. Because I didn't have men teaching me. I had people
that's your
from TV and the
expectations
books
of
that
a
I was
father.
reading. My
I'll tell you
expectations of a
this. Do you
father is
think he
damn
also
near.
betrayed himself
Oh
instead of
yeah,
just you?
he betrayed
And
himself to a shadow. My father
and
lives fully in
how
fear.
much torment do you, whenever you've betrayed yourself,
He has
whenever
mother
you,
wounds.
well, just hear me out for a second. Whenever you've lived your life with your standards, your opinions, your things you try not to compromise on, and when you have compromised or you have done subpar to your standards, you give yourself the most shit about it than anyone else ever has, huh?
We're our own worst critics.
Now, just try to imagine what your father would have thought when he betrayed himself, and you know how, because Jerry, I'll tell you like this, buddy, I had that same thought. My ex-wife and my child are in a house I fucking probably only go to twice a week, you know, so like it's not as simple as just I'm gone, like maybe for some, but I like to think, you know, us humans have our hangups, man. And
Yes.
maybe he thought he was going to be a good dad. Maybe he thought he was going to do his best, and then, you know, him and your mother just couldn't work, or you know, it wasn't a good life for anyone, you know, and then it became what it became, and just all it is what it is.
Can I ask you? Do
You
you did forgive your dad? Do you forgive?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
Me too.
Of
Yeah,
course
me
you
too.
have to, or you'll
But
never forgive yourself.
you can't. But you can't let these people continue being a part of your lives if they're dragging you down. And
Why not?
right, if they never ask, "Hey, how you doing? How the boy doing?" If they're always like, "Hey, gotta get
Well,
some,"
that's
you
fine.
don't. You're not obligated to your parents to take
You're
care of
not.
them like a CNA. You're not obligated,
Do
especially
you
if
want
they.
that
If you
relationship with
can
your father,
forgive them,
Jerry?
no.
Then
And
don't worry about it.
I'm not cruel, but like society and people, and they will try to make you feel as if like you owe, and that's like this the part of that late medieval mind state that we're still coming out of. Is like they will try to make you feel as if even if your parents did horrible shit. Like I said, I don't hold nothing against him, but it would be too much on my finances, my mental health, and my son and everything, my whole family, to ever do anything like that. Now, if he was a person who actively was trying to, and that gives
Oh,
me
I'm
my
not saying
lesson
let him
from
live at
my
your
father.
house.
No, I know you. I'm not saying this. I'm just using this as a kind of a
Yeah,
general example. I'm
example.
not speaking too much to myself, but I don't want my because that if somebody's lived their lives for decades in a certain way, the sad
Yeah,
truth is that they are not going to change.
set in
They
their
can
ways.
speak it
Yeah,
out as but you can love them from afar.
yeah,
If
and
you can love them from
that's
afar.
what you can do. Love them from afar, Jerry. Every so months, just Send them, and then send them a couple pictures of you and the kid, and tell them whatever you want to tell them. I'm not going to tell you what to say. That's your pops. But what if that love you give out makes it better? What
It
if?
tries, but it's hard when you're doing to a drunken
Oh, it's going to
fool.
be real fucking hard, buddy. It's going to be real hard. How old are you, Jerry?
I'm 32, so
You got
I don't
32 years of fucked up experiences to get through, buddy. You should have started yesterday.
trust any of the time. That's why I like distance him and can't. I'm not able to talk about stuff like this with my dad somewhat, but it always revolves back to his own ego. And if we were to talk about anything like why did you feel this way, he always breaks down into either tears or he will refuse to. He'll be like, "Your life wasn't hard," and I say, "I'm not saying my life was hard. I'm just saying."
Destroy your ego next time you talk to him, and maybe it'll help you realize his. Like, destroy your understanding and only go off of his.
He claims that his life story is like
that's his truth.
That's why I feel
that's not his claim, Jerry. That's his truth.
I know his truth, and that's why there's part of me that does feel. I love broken people. I sympathize with broken people, broken groups.
Yeah,
I am a broken person.
The beautiful and the broken.
That's why I in my heart will always be a Christian, because I know that's what Christianity is. It's not for the perfect, it's for the broken. And I love my father. He's a broken man, but just because you're broken doesn't mean you can't fix yourself. There are many marginalized people in history, groups of people. This man, Viktor Frankl, who's quickly become one of my heroes, survived the Holocaust. He discovered will through meaning. Logotherapy. I'm not an expert in it, so I'm not going to speak into it too much. I'm on my first reading.
Fucking Yu-Gi-Oh bookmark.
And I got the Yu-Gi-Oh card. Look, which card is it? It's a Radio Pharaoh Cyber So, whatever.
Definitely not what I would have said.
But the danger in that goes back to them, because my father, he never knew his purpose.
There's no danger.
I feel like
their words.
The danger of that is wait. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, the danger of that is him not knowing his purpose is him having children and passing that down because he doesn't. But it's up to the individual. That's what's beautiful about humanity. That's why I'll never hate humans. That's why it's easy. I could see why people would hate humans. We put ourselves through public humiliation rituals. It's a game between each other, but it's also a strong love. I do. It's a strong love between. Then maybe I know we all carry scars. I do, and I've done that recently, and I don't feel a need to do it again. But
I'm just saying, like, just put it out, man. Don't expect nothing back. Yeah. What if this love that you give out comes back somewhere else, like through your spouse or through somewhere else? You know what I'm saying? It makes the roundabout. It goes through, and it comes through another way. Like, it might not come.
Read a book. Write your thoughts down.
Exactly.
Outside,
journal.
Anything that you. You got to focus on yourself, but you can't let that self-focus into affecting the people around you, because we still have to share this world with other people. It's
going to affect the people around you.
But you got to control how your negativity does. You got to replace the negativity of positivity so it affects them in an altruistic way versus in a purely...
That's for them to decide.
This guy makes me want to fucking...
That's for them to decide. No, nothing you do, you're trying to force the feeling of, I'm a good guy, like me. That is wrong to Chris.
That's what it's coming across to you as. I apologize.
Well, that's what it sounds like, if I'm being honest. I'm not sure exactly what you said, but it feels like you want them to react how you want them to react, and that's not going to happen. That's never going to happen.
I don't want them to react that way. What I'm saying is, it's a sadness, it's a lamentation. It's a certain thing that makes me feel a little icky, that I know that I don't want nobody to change. Let me rephrase it. I don't expect no one to change, and I don't want no one to. I am sad that the majority of people might not want. I mean, I might be wrong. Who am I to assume that people don't want change? But I've read studies that most people are just an autopilot, about 60%. Don't think in their head. Whatever thought they have is something Joe Rogan or David Goggins or the Buddha or somebody else, even somebody like me who loves Jesus, is something that somebody else said.
Of course.
And that's it. a lot of people, your own thoughts are not your own unless you master them. I'm not. Once again, I'm not. This everything I'm saying, and I do apologize if it seems like I was preaching and trying to push my belief, but I was saying something that
No, not like
is
that's not
personal
what
to
I mean.
me. It's something that's personal to me, and I am high.
Well,
So
you
give me a
know,
little like. Ugh.
it's good to have convictions and have, you know, your standard or your set way, like, because that's ultimately how you realize who you are, right? Is by your non-negotiables. Like, even in debate, I guess we can call this, or in speculation or discourse.
This is a symposium, dude. We're talking philosophically. We're like, I mean, it's not a symposium in the sense that we're Plato and
Like an
Aristotle and
Agoria.
Socrates put together, but it's
You
in the
know,
vein of thinking men together talking. Two broken men who found we are broken, but we are fixed. I hate to keep on putting
well,
my terms on you, but we're so our brotherhood makes it that can, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say broken. Here's the philosophy that I've looked at. Have you ever looked at a cloud or anything and thought that cloud was misshapen? Or thought that cloud was supposed to look like something else? That's not how that cloud should look. You know, you just see the cloud, man. You see it as is in its whole self. And that's me. I'm the cloud. I've tried to put myself in different shapes and different pictures and personas and masks and all this other stuff, but really, I'm just the shape, man. I'm all of it. Like, to be a person is to wear a mask, man. The word comes from persona, and a persona was a mask they would use in acting with a cone on it to help you portray your voice, to help you convey everything better. So to be a person is to be an actor, and when you're acting, you're disingenuine, and when you're not genuine, you're basically just fake. So
You were the
good luck figuring
persona
that out,
environment.
guys. How do
See,
you be a genuine fake?
some people are good at it.
You
I think to be a genuine
know?
fake, you gotta lack guilt. A lot of people who lack guilt, they seem to be the ones that are most
Oh,
successful,
buddy,
right?
dude, I am shameless, my boy.
But as far as guilt, like, but not shit, but like, but it would depend. Like, what are you shameless with, though? I know what
Everything,
you
dude.
mean by that.
Like,
There are things like
I'm guilty, but I'm not shameless. Shame's the problem,
I'm
I
guilty
think, there.
if I hurt somebody. I feel guilt. It's like
Oh,
not
yeah.
guilty as like I'm guilty of a crime. It's guilt as in like
But the
if I
shame,
caused
I think,
pain
is
to
what
another
makes
person,
you.
it shamed me in my soul because like I hurt an extension of myself.
Yeah.
That's somebody I see and yeah. You come across you see somebody one time in your life. That's one time in your life you saw that to that person. Like everything, like you know what I mean.
You've never thought about an interaction with a random stranger after you've had it?
Many times,
Yeah. Then did you have shame?
a couple. Man,
See,
I
be
think about
shameless,
shit
my
I did
friend. Be
whenever.
yourself. That's all we can be.
But I don't hold myself to it. But I look at it like never do that again. But it's becoming one with that because I introspective thinking is like public, family, and self.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You show your
and
friends, you
people
show
use
your family, and you show yourself.
my mask is sarcasm. I really believe my mask
Well,
is trying to be the Joker. Is trying to be like, oh, that's why I was acting out always as a kid. You know,
what if I asked you to stop wearing it and just show the
I've
one you
been doing
show
that this whole
yourself?
fucking time. I hope. I
There you
hope.
go,
I
dude.
would hope. I would. That's why, like, I know I'm taught. I taught like whenever you talk really fast or you seem kind of scattered, people associate that with all kinds of things.
Yeah,
But
anxious,
what I've
really.
been anxiety, drugs, sexuality, all
Yeah.
kinds of things. People, if they can't understand something, they instantly go to the first label they can get to. But I've realized that a lot of times people where intensity comes from lack of discipline, and I have been putting discipline in my life. Fucking with my garden, messing with my writing, realizing the connection and the
What's the
importance of
first
the
thing you do
legacy.
in the morning after you get out of bed, Jerry?
I don't want to sound like a Pharisee, but I tell God thank you.
Well, after you tell
I
him
sit
thank
in
you, start
meditation
making
with
your
God.
bed. Do
I
you make
want
your
to.
bed? No, just do
Whenever
it.
my
If it
woman wakes,
messes
I
up
can't
throughout
make
the
it
day, it
whenever she's
messes
still
up.
sleeping.
Oh. Well, then
Get up,
whenever she
bitch.
wakes up, go in there and make your bed, man. Start doing the little things like that.
Let me
And
tell
then
you my
stick to
ritual.
that.
You didn't give me a chance to tell you.
Well, you got to make your bed, man. You got to
I do.
make your bed,
I
Jerry.
do make. What the fuck is this? No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
That looks
sound
okay.
so. But my first thing I do is take a piss. I've added drinking water as soon as I wake up, and I go feed and water my dogs.
Do you ever sit with yourself? Like, have you ever meditated, Jerry?
That's whenever I do most of my crying.
No, well,
But it's not
but
crying
like,
out of sadness. It's crying out of pure joy. Like, I
well,
don't know. I
next
don't. I
time
I
you let the
meditate with
thoughts linger,
God.
huh?
Tell me an exact. No, I don't know because
When
I
you
feel I'm
meditate.
talking with somebody when I'm meditating. But
Oh,
how would
see,
you?
that's not meditating to me.
I will try your example.
It's just sit with yourself. That's it. You can go sit in nature, you can sit in absolute silence, and then whenever you say you like to cry, whenever you get that thought or that emotion, whatever it is, because it's gonna happen to
But
I think even the masters when they're meditate, their mind's not empty, their mind's not clear. They're they're just letting the thoughts come and go. But whenever your thought arises, whenever your emotion arises, or whatever you try to name that sound over there that you heard, that bird in the woods, you try to name that instead of it being how you feel, try to detach from it and observe it like you would observe an animal in the forest. Ask it why it came, how long it's going to stay, and then when it leaves, let it go. And then like throw on some music in the background. It doesn't have to be quiet. You don't have to be in the sounds of nature. You don't have to even sit in the fancy pose. That's the beautiful thing. There's no right way to do this. There's no one set way to meditate. You can sit full lotus position if you can, if you're the first horse, or you can be the fourth horse that's broken and tattered and can only sit in a chair or they're in pain. No one wants to be in pain. So just sit with yourself for 5 to 10 minutes. Throw on some chill step or any of the guys you like to listen to and just try not to focus on everything. Just let it come, ask it why it's here, and then let it go. And you'll start to realize some things, man. I can't tell you what you'll realize, but you'll find something out, dude.
but I've tried. I feel like I'm gonna give it another. But I feel that's where it gets down to the individual human being. Chris is.
Yeah, you have to make it your own, Jerry. I'm not telling you to do my exact method.
I know what you mean. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But first of all, that's overcompensation. We're both good friends. We don't have to like. I don't have to affirm to you that I'm not disrespecting you. So you already.
Yeah. No, I was just trying to clarify. Like, however, man, however you sit with yourself and you just sit, man. The thoughts are gonna come, dude. You're not gonna be able to stop the mind. But
With
you can sit with it and see how it operates a little bit and try to detach yourself from the thoughts that come up and just let them come up because they happen all the time. Like, think about your subconscious for a minute. Imagine all the shit that's just constantly stirring in there. And now you're sitting doing nothing and you're not actively thinking about anything. So they're going to come and it will pass. Like shit will pass through your mind. I've been in fucking meditation right next to the river, loud as fuck. And then, you know, I asked myself, like, you know, why did my father leave? And what? I wasn't thinking about nothing, even the slightest. I was walking the park trying to pet the squirrels, and then I started sweating. And before I leave, I sit in the same place and I smoke a cigarette and meditate. And then, and instead of getting sad and asking, you know, myself, why did my father leave? I asked myself, what made that happen? Why did that thought come instead of, you know, man, it's a beautiful day out here. Why did that come? And I'm going to sit with it a little bit and look at it and see what it's doing here, you know, and I came to the conclusion that they kept arising so that they would remind me not to make those same decisions. because probably a month and a half ago, I was like heavily considering like dragging everything up and moving across the country, leaving my child, my ex-wife, and like going and starting anew and just YOLO swag 420 blaze it, because
You almost pulled a
ultimately
Buddha.
I am capable of that. I am capable. It's a terrible thing to be detached, I guess, to some, but it's it's not what I wanted. I sat with myself and I talked and listened and thought, and I decided that that's not what I wanted. So we stuck around. But shit like that's gonna pop up. You're shit like that. You're gonna be there, and then out of nowhere, you're gonna get, well, at least for me, you're gonna get hit with some curveballs
It's
about like
easier to quit.
shit.
It's easier. The easiest thing probably would have been to move across the country, abandon your family, say fuck it. But you did the more spiritually sound thing, the thing that'd be better for your soul. Stay, work. You know what your purpose is. I can tell, and the wisest thing you did was to stay, and that's your philosophy coming true in your actions right there. And there you go. You're living life by your philosophy, and I appreciate that about you.
Yeah, well, I asked myself the hard questions, and I tried to rationalize it, and then like I do look to the future on how I feel, or how I would feel like, and I live by the airplane philosophy, I guess is what I call it. I like to put my mask on first so I can better assist others. So instead of rationalizing it like, yeah, I'll move across the country, make my income, and I'll be good, and then I'll be able to make her better, but I won't be there. I'll be a stranger when I come back, and that's not something I wanted. So I decided to stop, because I would go watch my child every day. I left my wife, and that's shameless here. So like, imagine the shame a man feels for abandoning his wife and child. And I didn't abandon, because the very next day after telling my wife, I don't want to be with you anymore, I'm moving out, and we're gonna give each other that space. And then I got told that it wasn't gonna work, and nothing was happening. So but I was over there the next day, to watch my child, and to I still go, and I afford her time to do things and stuff like that. But it's tough, because everything there, every time I go watch my child, I'm plunged back into my old life, the old feelings. Holy shit, that's a lot of mail.
It's all trapped.
Wait, is anything with my name on it by chance? I'm expecting a shirt. That's not a shirt.
No.
Okay. Sorry, my fucking caretaker. I live with my buddy Scott. He's a good guy, chat. If let me shout his out. Jerry, you can just hate me. Scott, what's your YouTube called?
Shout us YouTube out.
The old one's Evil Thing 5.
What is it, Catachronics?
That's the new one. I haven't put anything there yet.
That's okay. We'll send the masses.
It's Catachronics.
Yeah, Catachronics, guys. Check them out. See, Cat and then Chronics.
Cat and Chronics? Okay.
Yeah, he's a
I would
good guy.
definitely say that. Type that into the chat.
Oh, dear
I
God.
would definitely say that he. I'd say a man is a man whenever he knows he's a man, and not based on what someone else tells him being a man is.
Oh, yeah.
I know I'm a man because I take care of my shit. And yeah, a man goes through a man is similar to a Christian. A man, you're not perfectly polished. You don't come into this shit perfectly polished, knowing everything. What up, Teresa? I've learned this through my journey into becoming a man. It's like, manhood is attained through discipline and consistent practices of a philosophy, and just steadiness. Yeah, and manhood is not determined.
See, I would just
by
only
anybody
stop
else's opinion, really.
on that
Especially-
last word, steadiness. That's it. That's all, because for
It's the lack of chaos, right?
I guess for me, when I imagine a man, like a manly man, a man's man. Self mastery is really the ultimate thing, because he's not dictated by others. His emotions are under his control at all times. Like, he doesn't react, he responds. He's intentional. So, and all that to me is steadiness, because in that steadiness, you'll know. There's you knowing what you want, knowing who you are, the things that make you happy, the things that make you sad. I think is what really makes you a man, and to be steady in that, to be sure, to not doubt yourself consistently, to not be afraid that you're doing everything wrong, and those thoughts can come, but don't let them live, and shit like that. Just to know your shit, man, to know who you are. You don't have to have purpose in life. I think it helps. uh Meaning is assigned, like, you can give anyone meaning in your life.
Well, this is
But
kind of hard to explain to people with antiquated thinking. They think it's just pull your straps up and like you're a
dude, I
man.
can even tell you what the
Like, you
fuck
know what I'm
antiquated
saying?
means, my boy.
This is hard to explain to people who might like. It's like because we like. It sounds kind of bitchish to be like, well, we've grown up in the transition from the old way to the new way. And
Well,
then we are the pro. Like, we have both gone far beyond our expectations. We are the product not only of modern America, but we are the product of the change in society. Like, our stories are quintessentially Americana, dude. Like, uh, yeah, like
at some point, yeah.
don't we talk about all of our bad shit in our past because we overcame it. Yeah, we might still think about struggle with some things, but we overcame it. Like, we're not sitting here lamentating, crying like, fuck, I wish this could have changed. I believe that if you look at strong men throughout history, whenever I was young, a lot of disillusioned young men who don't have that fatherhood figure, especially from my generation. That's why there's so many groypers. There's so many, like, the rise of ultra nationalism is high in this generation, is because the lack of purpose will drive you to tribal hatred, which is all that shit is. Racism, politics, it's tribal hatred, put into a form of the golden calf that they can follow, because they guidance, proper guidance, stern guidance, patience is needed to help make a good person. Without that person will fall for anything. That's why so many ordinary people helped the Nazis
Oh
do
God,
regular
no!
shit.
But I hope.
So many ordinary men was there ready to. They would just do what they did, even though that wasn't what they wanted to do. They just became swept up in it. Yeah, the definition of a man is. I feel like a man would have been somebody that stands against.
Definition of a man's a guy with a penis, guys.
Yeah,
Everything else is just what we
100%.
add on.
I was thinking about this because I've been in the psychology. Like, do you think, like, so women? And I don't believe in. I'm not trying to get into politics or anything like that. I'm talking pure
Women.
pure mental chemistry. Whenever and biological shit. Whenever a woman gets a sex change operation to become a man, gets the testosterone, that does not, like, they suffer with the existential problems that a woman suffers with. I'm not sexist. If anything, I am a feminist, because if you look at things, how women are emotionally in tune, they are intellectually driven. Very few men, like people like you, Hutch, I can talk to about shit like this. A lot of women I can talk to about shit like this. But they can also be more further driven into, because of their higher mental capacity. Women have the ability to go into darkness and lead into darkness further, based on my studies. And it's like patriotism is like religious worship, right? So Hutch, do you look at your the patriotism, like your true patriotism? You love this country. I know how deeply you love America, the United States. Now, it's ingrained, right? It's like it's an ethos within our current culture of our people, the American people. Zeitgeist, I found this out. I read today. The zeitgeist means like a general of the times. The ethos is like something for the people, like how the culture feels, a group of people feels. We have Americans in today's age have a unique ethos across any culture that has existed. We live in a time where nobody knows what the fuck, and they like we. It's our stories are quintessentially American, Chris. If you think about it,
Oh, dude, as fuck.
it's American story. It's American as fuck. You work, you come from nothing, and then you fucking work your ass off.
They'll
You
sing
might
songs
bleed a
about us
couple
one
of
day, Jerry.
times. I don't care. I want my son to remember
God,
me.
dude, I need
My
new
son will
underwear.
remember me. My son will remember me. It's
Was
like
that not your
that's what
contact?
that's
Oh,
what
you
I'm a
took them out.
patriot. That's what I love about this country. And I'm gonna write this in a poem. This is what I love about America is that this is the place where even it's native-born people like you and me, we are born into nothing, but
Stop!
we
Don't say
work
that
our
out
way
loud.
out of it, and then we bring ourselves up
Oh
because
yeah, well,
we're in the unique position because this is a place unlike any other that has existed, America the Beautiful.
yeah, but I think it's really about the same as it is anywhere else, man. Aside from like the
Uh,
big factors, like we speak English, predominantly white, guns, and the
can I
lifestyle.
say one more thing?
And
Oh,
fuck yeah, buddy.
please hold that thought. So a man is strong. A man protects. Okay, a man is not weak. He is strong. A man does not attack. He defends. He does not just blindly obey. He thinks. He questions. A man follows the beat of his. It's like the old saying. He
beat of your
follows
own
the beat
heart,
of his
dude.
own fucking drum of his own heart.
Yep. Now, like I was telling you, the steadiness of yourself.
A man keeps it. A man is somebody that's steady. Basically, yeah. A man is somebody that's even like whenever all that's falling around him, everything could fall around you. You're keeping it steady. That goes back to birth. That's what Franco was real life. That's what I'm coming across from the meaning of this so far, is that they can take everything. So in the beginning, he was quoting a play.
There's a snake in there somewhere.
Keep that thought you had a second ago because I love that.
Oh, that's gone, buddy.
So,
unless you can remember what I was saying, we might be able to spark something
chat,
back
keep
up.
them up on there. Anyway, he was remembering a play, and there's this Jewish doctor that was brought before this Nazi commandant, and the doctor was saying so many things. He was saying, "Here's my paperwork. I have this paperwork. I have this." And at the end of it, the SS guy said, "Is that all?" And the guy said, "Yes." And then the SS guy took it and burnt it. And he said, "Now you have nothing." Mm-hmm. And in the play, he had built himself around how other people perceive him based on his academic achievements and based on not just that, but he had built his ego around others. So he was by doing that simple act of having his documents destroyed him internally.
Yeah, because then he had no proof aside from what's inside, and I guess nothing was inside.
Our purpose is in us, but I feel like the more I've been learning and being like growing as a man, and my fatherhood has been shaping my philosophy as well. I truly believe that not only like as a human being, as a man, as a father, it's all connected. It's like a garden. It's like a gardener with his garden. I've been, how you take care of your plants, how you cut away what needs to be cut away, similar with proper discipline. Then it has a purpose. Your garden grows with a purpose. Same thing with the child, and same thing with you. You can't just, yes, you master yourself, but once you master yourself, I've been learning you can't just stay focused on yourself. You've got to, I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about my family and my friends, the people I care about. You got, because that's your circle. That's what keeps you sane.
I'll touch on this, dude. Even though, you don't abandon yourself, I guess. Don't forget to weed the garden that is your mind. Mm-hmm. Like, because you're in 10 years, our philosophy may very well change. Who knows? We could fucking meet scornful woman, or fucking Jordan can be gay in 10 years. Who knows? And then
that was 10 years ago.
Our entire outlook on life can change, but I like to think we'll be okay, Jerry. We're doing, man. I'm not out here trying to hurt nobody. Just got to
That's
remember,
it.
sometimes you got to just weed your own garden, man.
And we get this
And
stick
that's
with the
not always
discipline, right,
selfish.
Chris?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
You're saying by weeding your own garden, what you mean is to stick with the discipline, right?
Yeah, like,
Stick with your goals.
because
Stay steady.
most people, so like I'll destroy a seed real quick just so I can. So your ideas are seeds, man. You plant the seeds in your mind. Most people dig the seeds up and show their friends their ideas, and then their friends destroy them before there's roots to be planted. So like your next idea, you write a lot of fiction and fantasy. Before you share it with anyone, let the roots grow first before you rip the seed out and show me. Like I have an idea, I'll rip the roots out real, or I'll rip the seed out real quick. I want to make a book, like a manga book for children, or just American car culture in general. There's a big show in Japan based around drifting, and I would like to take that and put the American muscle car spin on it. Ride like an action-packed, Fast and Furious-esque type deal, but instead of doing the bullshit, it's just like the main character is some kid in fucking Tennessee who inherited his grandfather's muscle car, fixed it himself, and is now on the drag strip, having the time of his life, and just living and learning.
Do mechs come into play in it at any time?
No, dude, it's based in now.
Just
Like,
reality.
motherfuckers are racing like
Nothing
1970s
traditional.
Challengers, and it's just car culture.
We could workshop
But
that. We could do a writer.
no,
I
yeah.
want to do shit like that with you,
Just
dude.
to
Because I
touch
got
real quick
fucking like
before we lose
thousands
the
of
thought.
fucking shit written. Okay.
Usually, when most people pull their seeds back out, like I just did, and shared my idea, or like shown you what I had before the roots grow, a lot of people are negative and quick to bash. So you have to be careful who you show your seeds to. So like someone else could have very well just laughed at that and said that sounds like shit. And like I could have very well internalized that and abandoned my seed. But 2 days ago I thought it was a beautiful plant that I would be ready to take care of the rest of my life. But because I didn't let it grow roots and I shared that idea too soon and they bashed it, and I'm not mastered my self-talk, like I'm correcting it and stuff now, it could very well get destroyed and turn into nothing. So weed your garden by who you allow into your mind to share your ideas with, and who you allow to stay there. There's some people that have been staying in your mind, Jerry, that you don't even know live there still. You just haven't kicked them out.
Oh yeah. Now what about this? What about people who they do that, but they say what you said one more time. Fuck, I was writing it down what I was gonna say to you.
What, weed the garden of the mind?
Right before that.
You plant your seeds and you share your seeds with people, and people are mostly cynical.
Yes. So if you find people who are mostly cynical, what up, Dave? So as if they're initially like that cynical, then that's not. But if they're like work with you a little bit, you accept that. But if you see things like criticisms, like ideas that you should change, that's something you should roll with. I feel like when it comes to the creative.
Well, yeah, that's not what we're at though. So,
I know, and I didn't mean to segue so much. My bad.
No. That's not what I mean. But when I say that, you're showing your seed. It don't have roots yet. It's still fragile. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like a glass cup. If it gets knocked over, it might very well shatter. Criticism is okay. Like even ridicule will happen. Even the Bible says, "Let the mockers mock and the laughers laugh." Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But in that pivotal stage where you're still creating and growing this thing, and it needs to be nurtured. If it's met with criticism and ridicule at the early stage, it may very well die. But if you let your roots grow before you show your plants and share your thoughts, and you're firm in this, it'll last. It'll do a little better.
I respect you and understand that, but let me give you a rebuttal real quick and keep.
Let's hear it.
If you never show what you're growing and what you're working, then how will you ever know it's the true value to yourself? But any art, anything like whether it be philosophy, writing, painting, making a video game, doing YouTube, any art is sharing something between people.
I would
Right.
ask you what walls you built around your garden are made of. Because,
Chicken wire.
well, clearly not. They're clearly bricked up, buddy. There's no seeing into that garden. Clearly, you're isolated. You know, that's what I get. That
I've
person.
admitted every terrible, dark thing about myself, and I know.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not saying you specifically,
Okay,
like
my
that
bad.
person. Like, you know, like that person that doesn't share, keeps it all in, and you know, cracks when they're alone. They've built walls. You know, there's walls there. There might have a few windows here and there, but there's definitely walls. And I think that's bad, I guess. I don't think isolation or not sharing anything, you know, share your feelings, share your emotions. Tell that person you love them. Tell that person you don't fucking like them and you think they should do better. They might say the same thing to you and it might actually be true. Who knows? But like don't keep it locked up. Don't do that. I don't think that's good either. But there is some things you should keep to yourself. Like there's some plans that you shouldn't share. There's if I'm not saying your motive should be ulterior, like you shouldn't have underlying motives. You shouldn't be sneaky snake, but you don't have to share your motives with everyone. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't owe them a reason why, but they also don't owe you a reason.
That comes from a drive to want to be accepted into the group, I think.
Well, that's not even the group, dude. I'm not even
Overcompensate.
worried about being accepted.
No,
I'm
people
just
that do that.
Yeah, no, well, people do the damnedest things, man. You know, I can make a decision right now that can affect my life negatively or affect my life positively. And it can be the slightest matter, as if putting out my cigarette right now and not smoking, or fucking walking inside and fucking slicing my homie's throat and then going to jail. I can also make the same thing as a good decision. I can put this cigarette out, start running some laps, you know, do better for myself. I can make those phone calls, tell my mother I love her, shit like that. Any little decision like that can massively affect you, dude. And it's our choice to choose which way.
That makes me want to ask this question, not only to you, but myself and the chat. What is something that truly is a good decision? Is it something that you plan on doing, or is it something you just do without thinking about it? Or is it both?
It's something you've realized after you made the decision. So recently, just to me, I made the best decision of my life recently. I was going to buy a fucking, I was making bad decisions. Okay. And I was going to make one more bad decision. And honestly, I signed the paperwork, chat. I was going to buy a fucking brand new sports car, fucking $800, $900 payment, like a fucking retard. Yeah, but the best decision I ever made was to call my co-signer and tell him not to sign it. And I didn't know it was a good decision until after, because while I made this decision, I was struggling getting back and forth to work. Like I'm walking 14 miles to work type shit, like a very far. Well, I only did it twice and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that again. I have a bicycle, but now my homie lets me use his car. But I didn't know it was a good decision until after I made it, because I thought it was a good decision when I signed that fucking paperwork for that brand new Mustang convertible, my boy. So I think you learn if it's a good or bad decision either before you make it or after you make it. I'll add that before you make it, because I noticed with myself recently, I make my decision and then I try to rationalize it. But when you try to rationalize the decision before you make it, you'll make a better decision.
But is it good? Is it a good decision because you chose to do it because you knew it would be good?
Oh, well, you didn't know it would be good. Or
is it good because you just do it without knowing that it's good?
Well, I'm going to tell you a thing. You can look it up. I'll describe it the best I can. It's called Mushin. So I think this is the best way to try to live, guys. The heart of Chris's hearts. You should act with your Mushin, your mindless mind. When action is pure and selfless, everything falls into its perfect place. When you act without reason, when you simply just do, like Jerry's saying, and then we'll find out after if it's good or bad. I think that's how it works best. Because, son, I don't have hindsight for the future.
Yeah, you can't be. I feel like living too much in the past, or especially living too much in the future, can be just as dangerous as living in the past. About the future, that causes more like deep thought than thinking about the past.
But deep thought's good. It's good to try to rationalize your decisions before you make it. But I think ultimately you only find out if it's good or bad after you've made it. You can think I can think it's a good decision to do it, and then I do it, and then it turns out it was not good. Or it's just fear, like, because life's gonna life either way. I'm just scared it's not gonna be how I want it to be. And the problem with that is I want it to be a certain way. That's the real issue. This is laughable. I've reached a level in my studies of like Eastern doctrine of like Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, that to where when I say this, I laugh at myself. My desire is to not desire. That is where I'm at now. And I tell you, son, just it's a paradox.
Yeah.
It's laughable that I say that I wish to not wish for anything. While I'm in saying that I'm wishing, in saying that I'm still stuck in the same trap.
That's why I recommend you start taking. I fuck with the Eastern philosophies as well, but you got to also take some of the Western stuff in as well, which I know you do. But I like you. It's a combination of all these things. I don't truly. I don't. That's why I don't get down with the Eastern philosophies too much, is because as human beings, we're not capable, I believe, of truly detaching from ourselves, because ourselves isn't necessarily just us, it's the people around us as well, the people connected with us. So unless even hermits, even the hermits that live the life of hermeticism and go up in a cave somewhere and live 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, well, like you said, man, it's the people around us, dude.
How come we don't see any Buddhas in our lifetime, though? How come we don't see any, like, that's kind of similar thing with,
if you meet the Buddha, kill him. No one has all the answers, Jerry. The Buddha claims to have all the answers. The Buddha claims to have reached enlightenment. The moment I tell you I reach enlightenment, enlightenment is gone. I am back down.
Yes. See, because it's life is a constant growth of renewal. If anything, I'd want the message of this channel to be to destroy people that say they have all the answers. I'd like to destroy the message of anything saying that here's the final answer. Follow this philosophy. I'm going to ask you a question.
This question has an answer. This question has an answer. Like, there is a right answer to this question, and I do not know the explaining behind it. Do you think a dog has Buddha nature?
Give me 5 more seconds to contemplate this, please.
Does a dog have Buddha nature?
No, I believe no. A dog does not. A dog has that. A Buddha nature. So a Buddha nature is that spiritual third nature. Not that's Buddha nature is one way to call it, but it's that spiritual nature. There's human nature.
You want me to tell you the answer?
Buddha nature. Oh, I'm telling you. Tell me what the answer is based on your perception.
Moo.
Yeah, the dice about to get to that. The animal mind state, which is mindlessness. I see. I'm putting too many words on some shit that should be simple. It's just simple mindlessness is yes. But the animal, he lives the animal mind state. But the animal mind state might very well overlaps with the spiritual mind state more, being that it's closer to nature. The permanency of nature outweighs the human experience as far as perception goes.
Everything has Buddha nature, Jerry. Even the grass and the trees will become enlightened. The real question is how we will become enlightened. Myself.
The only nihilistic thing about me, dude, is I believe human beings, we are the only things capable of enlightenment, but it's not like, I believe it's like evolution. But it's like through this is my philosophy, but it's like, it's through evolution, dude, from generation to the next. Even if you don't have kids, you could be an impact, like, on somebody else. Like, if you're at work and there's a younger person that fucking can take advice from you or something. Something like that, that's... I feel like, because anything mainstream pushes too much, they push this oneness. What do you got right there?
I was gonna
you always got to
beat the rat.
No, I feel like stagnation is death, right? Like entropy. Whenever entropy happens, that means that you stop moving. Like, you just stop thinking. You stop.
I can go back to water again. You know, stagnant water will fucking kill you. You know, like if you drink stagnant water, you will get fucked up. That's why they used to mix it with rum and shit, grog.
What did you have in there? Was that a spider?
It's a snake.
It was a
I
snake.
don't think it's gonna eat it. Some National Geographic shit right here, chat.
Wait, let me see. Let's take a
Snake's
break
not
from the
hungry.
existential, and this is nature. We can psychologically break this down too, or we could just look at it regular.
That snake has no thought in its mind except for I'm hungry. Do I want to eat this or do I want to just chill? Because that rat is clearly not alive.
What I don't know too much about what they say about what they call the reptile brain.
He does now. Snake's not hungry, chat. That's okay. Oh shit, it's just me. I lost Cherry.
No, I'm
So
here.
guys, oh what the fuck? Where are you? Oh, you
I'm
just
here.
I'm full
trying to
screen.
fix it. Wait, here we go.
Yeah. I don't like to show my face, guys.
That's the older
My
I've
face
gotten,
is-
I feel like a man doesn't like a boy likes shit that's easy. As someone who's stuck in immature ways, and when it says, "And I became a man," I put aside childish ways. Childish ways is where you're stuck in wanting things the easy way still, and hoping somehow Gandalf the White's gonna fucking come over the hill and save you, and Gondor is gonna be saved, or Minas Tirith, I should say, whichever one.
Well,
Gondor,
you're fucking Gandor, and you needed to get riding, bud.
yeah, whenever you are Gandalf, yes. Yeah, dude, and that's like that's the biggest problem with our generation. It's what I've noticed. Like every generation of old people feel like they come from a golden age where there was knowledge and experiences that will never be felt again. That knowledge will always be lost, and that was a
And we'll
lost
probably be
golden
the
age.
same.
And we're gonna be the same fucking way. And they think the next generation is a fallen world, Cain and Abel, debauchery, evil, and it does get that way more and more each generation. But hopefully we could do something to change it with this one. But we have the most connection to infinite knowledge as well as infinite pain within our generation. You got to be in a balance with your light and darkness. Yeah, pain, but pain is not. How do I describe?
Well,
pain?
the word infinite is where you lose me.
Well, I don't think nothing exists. I think infinite's the only option. I don't think nothing is. Nothing is not an option. It only keeps going.
Well, yeah.
Whether, I don't
nothing
know,
is also everything.
Dimension within this lifetime, it's. But I asked this, I forgot who said this. It said, if you had to live your life over and over again with the same sorrows, the same pain, the same happiness, with the person you are right now, I think it was Jung. Do you accept that? You know, would you? And if you do, that means you are happy. You are one with yourself. And me personally, I do feel I would live my life over again. Every mistake I've made, every good choice I've made, all the sadness, all the good happiness.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Live it all over and over again. That would be heaven, honestly, too. Versus, I don't want to be sacrilegious.
See, then here we go. It's all on perspective, because in some people's mind, that could also be hell. So it's all really how you think about things, man, I guess.
I'm just sad that it makes me sad that people can't see, like, I wish
be happy. Be happy about that.
Happy still, but that's the only thing that keeps me. I'm happy, but I'm happy, but I'm sad at the same time because the world. I don't care about.
You want to share this beautiful light you have within yourself.
It's almost like a Holy Spirit type of deal, but not in the Christian sense. It is in the. I am Christian centered, but it's in a marginal. Anybody. I really I feel for people that have been marginalized and hurt in their life. And I respect most men in history that have been able to conquer both their dark sides and their light sides. And they didn't emulate anybody. They found it themselves.
Conquer is not a good word.
No, conquer is not. Like the men in history, the men I'm talking, like They do, like, as far as conquer. Tell me why you mean you don't think conquer is good.
Because that it to me that it's like a, I guess it sounds violent. You see what I'm saying there? Like you're imposing. You conquered. Well, you have to impose yourself on yourself, or you won't have a self. But you see what I mean when, like, if I was to go out and conquer the world, I do it by any means necessary, whether that's violent or like softness, But just that to conquer something, it just sounds like it's a violent action, I guess.
See, a lot of these dudes like that, they could have done many things. Like they conquered so much, but they died like never having enough. Napoleon, Hitler,
Yeah.
Alexander the Great. These guys, their ambition, their shadow was they gave into their dark side and they kept pushing. That's why Napoleon. That's why. Let's go invade Russia. Let's go ahead. I know the winter's coming. But you have to
Poor
conquer
guy.
life, though. That's the barbarian life. So,
Yeah.
like, life is violence at the same. It's not. It's a combination of what we're doing: philosophy and poetry,
You say
and love
conquer,
and
I say
beauty.
master.
Love and beauty is also synonymous with death and destruction as well. It's a mastery of the both. You have to have death and destruction to treasure and protect love and beauty, or
Well,
else love
yeah,
and beauty will deteriorate to true evil.
that's like
True
if
evil will subject, because the eternal good has to fight with the, because evil was always changing. You always keep that goodness in you, but the
well, so
evil
does
in you
good.
always changes. No, the goodness will always say the same goodness if you notice, but the evil, it might change from hating one thing to hating another, lying about one thing to lying about another. But the goodness will always be love, joy, truth. The goodnesses will always be the same, but the evilnesses will seem to change and evolve. That's why I don't think evil is eternal. I think evil is a gradual evolution, but as good is something that keeps the same goodness, in my opinion, keeps the same foundations throughout its existence. But it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in war, to sum it all up.
Yeah, but see, my thing about that is, if if not, the thing as good is always a good, but evil isn't always a changing, or evil can change, then so can good, can it not? Like, if it's a if there's no happiness, I'll never feel sorrow. If there's no joy, I'll never feel pain, or whatever the fuck the synonym would be, the whatever the opposite one would be. Like, if there's no good, how do I know evil? I only know good because there is evil, and I only know evil because there is good. So, like, it's the yin and the yang, dude. You live in the white or the black, but you have to know the other. Like, I'm a guy, so I think it's yang is the black one. I live in yang, but I know yin.
No,
Like,
Yang
it's
is the black one. No,
I
the
don't
black
know.
one represents the feminine, chaotic, destructive side, and the white one represents the male energy,
I
creative,
couldn't tell you. I just
passionate
like,
side.
you have to be able to at least look and see things in other perspectives. Like, you can't. There's no one set. I think, like, there's no one true way to the light. Like, there's fucking a million different paths, man. Just pick the one that's best for you and try to be happy with it. But I don't think good and evil are like set in stone, are like, this is good, this is evil. Yes, they can be, but I don't think it's that simple. Like, is it a good thing to kill the murderer? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it a good thing to castrate the pedophile? Yes, it is. But inherently, it's a bad thing to cut off someone's genitals. It's a bad thing to kill people. So, like, there's that gray area again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why Men in Black. You remember in Men in Black how they had that device they can press that makes everybody forget.
Yeah.
I wish this sounds kind of bleak, but I think that they should do that to the whole world and make us forget all of human history and everything that's happened, besides a couple of people, and then start a new everything going off of there.
I think we would be
See
worse.
that experiment. That or everybody gets fucking vasectomies and stops having
Well,
kids and fucking gets their tubes tied and we walk off into oblivion together. Or the third option, we come together, put aside our differences, and start realizing that we need to be like, if you look at all of human history, that wouldn't have been that, like, England wouldn't have, America is the culmination of the shit the ancient Chinese, the ancient Mesopotamians, the ancient Greeks, the Romans.
yeah, the melting pot.
This is the culmination of human history within this country. And that's why we got to decide. If we all realize how much we have in common, how much our world has been, how much our human race and our world has been shaped by each other. But you know, the corporate people, the ones that make money off of people suffering now, they know that they can't keep, they keep making money off of division.
Well, yeah, you know, to divide, you can conquer. Divide and conquer, dude. You separate them.
Yeah, and it's all.
Yeah, I don't think fate's the underlying factor. It's, and I say I get lucky, but I also tell you I believe I make my own luck. You know, luck is a little bit of preparation, a little bit of planning, and a little bit of action, and then that's how you get lucky. And then fate, to me, is just, yeah, cope, dude. But hey, dude, whatever makes you fucking cope, man. Because, like, was it fate that I fucking separate from what I thought would be the love of my life? You know, was that fate? If that's fate, fate's a cruel bitch. You know.
The ancient Norse called your fate. They called it weird. That's what we call, like all the
Yeah,
ancient.
weird.
Well, they called it weird. Your weird was something that followed. Your doom also followed you alongside your weird. You walked alongside your weird and your doom. I'm trying to get to the. But
Yeah.
that your fate, your weird is your fate. Your fate is your essence of who you are as a person. I'm trying to get to that fucking part. I need to start bookmarking this thing.
Highlighters, man.
Yes, I need to
And
get.
like tab post-it notes that like
Here we are.
are like real skinny and stick out the side of the book.
So it says this weird, and this is the runes by J. Hamburger. So weird, Old English, and oror in Old Norse, they both mean that which has happened, but this can be understood in different ways. It was once widely held that every event in a person's life, their weird, was fixed at birth, like fate.
Yeah.
People would still have to make decisions, but the outcomes were predetermined, as if they had already happened. Now it is common to think that the future is unwritten and that people create their own fortunes through free will. In this modern context, weird would simply refer to the past. Let me just read a little bit more. Even the Norse, okay, another old Germanic belief was the idea that some people are marked for death or doomed, and nothing can be done to stop it. Even the Norse gods cannot escape their doom at Ragnarok, the final battle at the end of the world. This degree of fatalism may sound extreme in today's world, but we must remember that until recently, most people had very few options in life and very little control over what happened to them. Our modern day fates, our dooms are put upon us because we have too many options, in my opinion. Modern folks might likely be able to see themselves as agents of their own destiny because of the incredible advances in freedom and opportunity we've had over the past few centuries. Nonetheless, ancient Germanic thinking did leave some room for individuals to affect their outcomes. For example, in Beowulf lines 527-3, the poet explains that weird often saves a warrior from death if he is brave enough, as long as he isn't doomed. So if you're brave enough, you can affect your fate. I like the idea of free will because it allows us creative powers and gives us our actions meaning. However, it does not address the many things in life that are beyond our control. There is another Old English word, orlog, or a primal layer, which is everything that is passed down to us from our ancestors. And I think we do a lot with that. I think the most useful approach to all these concepts is look how your weird interacts with orlog. we could say that everything we do weird adds a new layer to our history, or Lord, and at the same time, our history influences everything we do. So we create our own fate.
Yeah, just like how I kind of said with my luck, man. It's fate. You can, I guess, determine your fate. But
It's already there, but it's like your fate's somewhat
it's not as
predetermined, but it's like you can tip it in your balance. Is life already predetermined becomes the next question, or has life already been decided?
neither. I don't think it's predetermined. That's for sure.
Yeah, see, that stuck out to me. If you are brave enough, you can change your fate. You cannot. You won't be confined. You won't be locked down to expectations or false identities given to you
By fate, which
by fate.
is
Society
another
and fate often go
fucking
hand in hand, kind of, in a way
hippy
as
dippy
well.
bullshit. The fate's cool, I guess. If it's predetermined. See, I think fate is like the things that connect us. The red strings of fate, man. Like they're what tie people together. Like it was fate that I met my wife. It was fate that I met Jerry and Jordan and stuff like that. And that fate has become us to be bound for however long the rope is there. Strands can be cut, like ribbons can be burned and broken and fray and all that other good stuff, but fate is just what ties us together, I guess. It was fate that we became friends, shit like that. But that's just like you said, a way to look at the past, the things that have happened.
That's what I got when I analyzed that too, is that, back in those times, they did live harder lives, so they did have to live more of a fatalistic life. They had to look at things more of a dark way. They knew
But
that they were going to die. They knew their doom was at hand any day, any moment, but
well, shit,
they
same.
lived each day of their life with conviction to make sure that when the doom came, that their life mattered beforehand.
Yes, that they had a good run, buddy. That's all
Whereas
we're
we have
that's the shit we're doing.
ding 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 ding.
Oh,
Yeah, but
I don't know.
it's just we live in such an easier.
Yeah, they
And
do
when
say
I was
when you're
reading
young like
here,
that, it molds you.
more people in themselves today. There are more people. There's more of a psychological. There's more of a crisis of identity and purpose in
Well,
today's
yeah,
era than there
that's
ever
because we're
was.
we're
And they're
overloaded with choices.
overloaded with choices, but all of the choices we're overloaded with, guess what? They all bring us pleasure. They all
Yeah,
bring us pleasure. It's not just, oh, we have these choices, and they push the pleasure choices in front of us, knowing that the pleasure is gonna, like, why would you want to slow down, gather your thoughts, and look at something and analyze it, and not just so consuming mass market media, shorts, constant doom scrolling, constant television, constant keeping up with the Joneses, even gossiping like about other people's lives. That drains away from you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, no,
From
definitely.
from the true, like what you could be doing.
Yeah, you could just be chilling, not giving
But
a
you're
fuck, not shitting on somebody or whatever. Because that's usually like I gossip. I'm not gonna lie. I've gossiped about people, and when you do, it's usually spicy. I like to say, there's something to it that makes it feel worthwhile when really it's just meaningless nothings. Nothing really matters, and everything is pointless, guys. That's the secret to it all.
like, let me phrase this. I do believe in God, but I do believe in Jesus Christ. But I'm saying this, I will never deny that. But as far as like my journey was philosophy and human nature, I will never. That's a boomer. That's so boomerish. That's vanity in itself to think that you have all the answers. Honestly, that is vanity in itself, is to assume that, oh, I found the answers, and someone that questions continuously will never know the answers. But you always find new answers through new questions.
I was about to say, yeah, there's no answers without questions.
There's no answers without questions. Exactly.
I don't even know. Yeah, I'm pretty
My
vicious,
biggest
I guess is
fear
how you would say that. I
is
like to peacock.
And that I do. I find myself often, sometimes I'll over exaggerate, but that's over exaggeration is overcompensation. You know?
Yeah. There's all sorts of things I've overcompensated for sure.
But what I have found that's helped me is that I found the things that keep me grounded in my everyday life, my professional life, working, bills, taking care of my house, my yard, all that stuff. I have that. But then I also, I feel at one with that, whereas my spiritual and philosophical side I'm at one with, but that's the one where I feel more at liberty to mess around with. I don't want to play around with my professional life. I don't mind messing around with my spiritual and philosophical aspects.
You say play with your professional life, elaborate.
I don't want to go around and existentially do mistakes at work, like hit some shit or get mad at a guest or something, and then, or questions, or anything, like how. So the fact that I'm being in touch with these other parts of myself has been helping me being in the touch of the rage-filled parts of myself that things that lashes out with my mind first, or lashes out with my unconscious first, my mind second, and my subconscious third.
Real quick, then, I guess if you don't like discuss outside of us, really. Your philosophies and your because hear me out real quick. You're scared of how you'll react. Like someone will say something and you'll get angry, maybe, or like you'll take that and it'll ruin your day, or you'll constantly think about it and shit like that,
or it could
it'll
anger
bother
them.
you.
Or it could ruin their day and anger them. That's the one. That's what that's what happens more often.
And here's what I was saying earlier. Remember, their reaction you'll never be able to control. And if you hide yourself because of other people's reactions, Jerry, you're shrinking. Don't ever shrink yourself, baby girl. The lion does not concern himself with the bumps on his genitalia.
But if someone wants to get a beer, so someone says, "Hey, I want a Yingling," I'm like, "Yeah, do you want a Yingling, or do you want to know why you truly want this Yingling?"
Well, holy shit, Jerry, like, you can't just drop esoteric wisdom out of nowhere in general conversation. Some lady your coworker can be like, man, I'm really struggling with XYZ, and you can just hit them with some exoteric bullshit real quick, like, fucking live long and prosper, or like it's all meaningless and it's bullshit, or fucking be like water and just flow and vibe with the natural state. And don't just fucking walk up to somebody and be like, hey man, opens up your trench coat, I got the secrets of the universe right here, you want some? And that's fucking weird, dude.
It would only be so easy if somebody would have done that with us.
Well, in my life, anger has been a product of sadness to me. I found that for a long time, if I was sad, it would come out as like an anger. Because, hear me out, like I used to get made fun of for like whenever I would cry about shit like that. Like even my own family, like not my mom or anything, but like my sisters and my brothers would make fun of me for that shit. So I stopped crying, and then it just manifested itself as anger. I'm sure for some people it manifests as fear or anxiety and shit like that. But for me, dude, it was blind fucking rage.
I think all these things, they're all in the same bag, right? They're fear, anger, hate, jealousy. They all stem from the same source, insecurity in yourself. I really think that you have something that people who are, they have some insecurity within them that makes them latch on to one of those
Yeah, like I was saying
personality
earlier,
types hyperly.
I valued myself off of my worth to others, dude, and whenever I would whenever I wouldn't be valued, and I would get angry. Like, what do you mean? Like, I fucking, yeah, actions are louder than words, dude. Like, I showed up and did all this. What do you mean, you fucking,
You were
you
angry
don't think
because
I'm
you were
true?
afraid. You were angry because you were scared of the rejection at that time of them denying your
Yeah.
truthfulness. You were that your anger was the only way to express your truth, but it was still denied, and that
But
fueled that
now I
rage
know how
more.
to express that as what it really was. Like, I was sad. I was sad to hear that, after 15 years and me saying that, I think we could work this out, that I was sad to hear that, that there's no fucking hope. Chris, quit begging and get away from me. But I didn't feel sad. That hearing that pissed me the fuck off.
But that's life. And as a man, with our age and experience, you realize like that's a part of life, and that shapes us into the men we are now. Insecurity comes from not. I believe so. If you want to get even deeper, the not having an outlet for these feelings, and then so you don't have an outlet, and then you also have people who are knocking down what you're trying to say. That will lead further to the insecurity, and then insecurity leads to all these other reactive emotions. That's what they are: anger, jealousy, fear, especially raging out. Like how you described, it's like raging. That's
Yeah,
a
for a long time I
reactive emotion.
reacted. Yep, now I respond.
Yeah, and I feel like as a man, the hardest thing for me to have learned to control is my anger.
Oh
And
yeah.
my and like that's the bottom line of it. Like that's my
That and lust.
that well lust too. But
All the bitches.
they all come together though, dude. They all like I've noticed this throughout the pattern of the Old Testament. There's the story of it was a story of people. They were in favor. Life was going good. They were okay with God at first, but then life was going good for a certain amount of time. Then they stopped believing. They stopped loving God. Stopped living their life like that. Then everything fell apart and went to shit. And it happens throughout the whole Old Testament. And back me up, Chris. I gotta take a piss. 1 second.
Hi guys, my name is Chris, and I'm an addict. I'm fucking 29. I turn 30 next month. Let's go, dude. I'm from small town USA in Louisiana. Population only because of the military base, probably like 13,000, I think. Not a big city at all. I've been nowhere outside of the continental United States, but I've been to every border. I stayed in New York for some time. Like 30 minutes from Canada, California, Louisiana, the Carolinas. I used to travel and I say the world, because the world is small to Chris. Travel the country building fucking college dormitories. For about 10 years, I was a husband, a father, a son, shit like that. Now we're just chilling. Here's my cat. Well, it's not my cat, but he's a good little boy. Yeah, now we're just trying to fucking make it, man. I spent the last 15 years in a relationship where, like I said earlier, like I valued my usefulness or valued myself on my usefulness. So you could imagine how easy it is for someone like that to lose themselves in their relationships. And I spent the last 15 years doing nothing but trying to make someone happy. So I'm taking the time to make me happy first. Like I still show up for my daughter. I still explain myself when I don't need to. Like now, I still fucking help out my ex-wife when she needs it and shit like that. But
As you should, to an
yeah,
extent, but not to
respectable.
abusive use by her.
Well, I'm not here for the extracurriculars, is what I told her. Like, I'm here if the baby needs to be watched, so you can go to the doctor, you can go to work, you can do shit like that. I'm not here to come watch the baby so you can go out to the club with your friends. You got me fucked up. When we were married, I couldn't even do that. So like, what's up? Like, why? Why you
Some of the
asking?
other stuff you've told me kind of is like,
Yeah,
I
here.
see it mirrored in
Can I
my
share my
past
screen?
relationship.
I
Sure.
exercise every day, buddy. I can't tell you exactly how far I walk every morning. So here's my day. Chris wakes up at the same time every day for fucking what feels like my entire life. I wake up at 6:30 for some fucking reason. Even if I could go get super hammered right now. I'm gonna wake up at 6:30 for some reason. I'm able to fall back asleep, but I just get up then. It's like my circadian rhythm. And then I sit up because when I awake in the morning, I don't roll around in bed unless, it's a chill day. But I try. I usually, as soon as I wake up, I'm fucking up. We're up sitting there. We're active.
That's what I've been trying to
I
get
sit with myself for like 5-10 minutes. I write in my journal. I have a journal. I use it daily. So then I make my bed. I decide what I'm gonna do throughout the day, and then at about 7:45, I go to the park. I walk about 6,000 steps with a 25-pound weight vest on. I do random push-ups and sit-ups throughout the park, and then sometimes before, not so much, but every time after, I sit next to my friend, the Mr. River is what I call him. It's just a little stream. I sit next to the loudest part of the water so that like there's noise and I'm not just in dead silence because I don't like dead silence and it's weird to me. But I sit by the loudest part of the stream, and then I think on the fact that if this stream is clear and beautiful, no matter how fast, to me that is the chaos within, the things within, no matter how fast they're moving around, no matter how they're going, the thoughts, the ideas, this water runs clear. It is clear and focused, even with all that turmoil. It's clear, it's directed, it's doing its thing. And I sit and think about how I would like to be like this stream, even with all my chaos and my turmoil inside and everything at a constant just running. I just sit and I think about how I can be like this stream, clear, concise, and beautiful, even with all that. And that's it. That's what I do. I come home and then I spend the rest of my day fucking smoking cigarettes and chilling. Hippie bullshit. But yeah, I got a little bit of a morning routine.
See? Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
but I've only been doing that for about 2 months. Like, it's not like a long time. It's so if
You've been doing it. Fuck, a lot of people ain't been
psychology.
doing that
Here's
shit.
a psychology thing that I thought was pretty funny after I found out about it. I found out about it recently. Apparently, there's a thing known as the divorce effect in men, and it's pretty funny. Apparently, like after dudes get divorced, there either one or two things happen. They fucking like slump around and be all sad and shit, or they become like super ripped. And I was like, well, damn, let's just get super ripped. Because I don't like to linger, man, in my feelings. Really, I'm not against having them or anything, but I don't like to let them linger. They are to come and they are to go. You know. You guys legal? No, I'm definitely illegal, bro. I'm in Texas, but I'm smoking cigarettes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
The good
dude.
old.
You're talking about like legal like citizens or like legal
Oh
like
no, dude! I'm from fucking Guatemala.
I'm from Earth. I'm from Earth. I'm a citizen. No, actually I'm from Mars. I'm one of the Martians.
I am but a face and a name.
Let's put it like this. I'm from Earth, but I do hold special reverence to my motherland. Not necessarily in what I hold true to be beautiful about this land we live is that it is a place where anyone with any idea, regardless of if they fail, they still have the chance to try to even do it. That's what's beautiful about this land.
Yeah, Sophie, it's my thing about that is there's no, like, even in silence, like if you sit alone in your room, there's like an underlying sound, I guess. Just from in like movie production and stuff like that. If they want the silence of like Jerry's bedroom, they would take Jerry out of his bedroom and they would go in there and record absolutely nothing. Because if I was to do that in a different room, it wouldn't sound the silence would not sound the same. So instead of silence, let's think of it as natural noise. Like I go and I sit in the natural noise. Like I don't play music. I listen to the sounds that come around me, and I identify them. I try not to sometimes, but the mind has its habits. And like I'll be sitting there and I'll hear this bird chirping and I'll be like, oh, that's a bird. Or I'll hear the wind in the trees and I'll be like, oh, that's the wind. But I don't want to do that. It just happens.
So this is natural.
Yeah, they say like the ultimate like meditation is to stop all that, but I don't think that's happens. I don't know though. I've
They
never,
say that for them.
sitting with yourself is the ultimate meditation, and whatever happens during that, I guess. Yeah, hippie bullshit, man. I've read The Art of War, Jerry. You want to conquer the world, bro?
No, I don't want to conquer the world. I want to conquer myself is the philosophy that I'm trying to go for.
Yeah.
The world's
It's
not
right
meant.
here.
The world ain't meant to be conquered.
Right in the bathroom, so you can become Genghis Khan or whoever while you're taking a shit. It's like a Bible too. I didn't think it was going to be like this. Here,
Do
let's
you
read a
think it's
passage
harder
from
to
The Art of
conquer the
War.
world or the earth? Not my bad. For yourself. Let me hear it.
I would say yourself, because the conquering the world's impossible. I think in war, then let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. Thus, it may be known that the leader of armies is the arbiter of the people's fate, the man whom it depends whether the nation shall be in peace or in peril. The Art of War. It talks about chess in this book.
I feel like
Yeah, that book's old as fuck.
Sun Tzu, his message, I think he's trying to get across was like, be doing all that conquering and violence, but doing it, for a purpose. He wasn't just saying just purposefully do violence. He was saying
No,
conquest through
you're at
necessity.
war.
War, logical warfare. Don't just go out there hacking and slashing like some crazy son of a bitch.
Well, I mean, it's probably not a good way to look at it, but you could say you're at war with the external world at all times. It's out to fucking get you, they say. So if it's your enemy, might as well go to war with
I've
it.
ever experienced absolute silence.
Yeah, like a deprivation chamber.
I don't think so, because I've always had like an image or my own voice.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, dude. That's always gonna happen, I think. Oh, I gotta charge my phone too. I think I seen that in the chat.
So we've been on there forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this shit's easy to talk about.
Dude. We
You just ramble on.
This is the kind of shit that I like talking about too. I sent Hutch and Guardian
That's cool.
the email link, but I'm starting to feel like kind of stoned.
Yeah, shit, buddy. I've been sober this whole time. I've been sober so long, Jerry. I'm starting to dream again, buddy. I say sober, but I'm not I'm not, I guess, fucking stoned out all day like I was for a long time.
Yeah, that is something I've been doing with myself, is not smoking as soon as I wake up. I usually give it like at least 3-4 hours before I
Did I say that with the T? I'm sorry.
Sober.
Sober,
That's
man.
extreme soberness.
It's because my name's Christopher.
I think it'd be good for like dudes like us to only smoke weed at nighttime, or even if you like, I don't want to smoke it at all, but I feel like that's gonna be kind of hard to just quit smoking weed.
Before the thoughts of the world and everything else get to you, sit with yourself alone in the morning before it all rushes in. Oh, when you're sober.
Oh, that's the thing, dude. Like, I want to because life. I don't need to smoke weed to experience the beauty of life. If anything, I've come to realize weed it can amplify my anxiety, but it can also calm me down. It can put me into It can put me into thought, deep thought, but it can also put my thoughts scattered as well.
Yeah, make it hard to concentrate, fog the mind.
But it can give me some fucking good ideas
And some solid sleep, dude.
and some great sleep. I wake up sometime
I do
with
give
weed
mediocre hugs,
hangovers.
dude. Or maybe, I don't know.
He gives good hugs. I get bad hugs. I'm a skinny bastard.
You must be a selfish lover. Do you finish first or second? No, I'm joking, buddy.
No comment. No
I
comment.
like to think I give good hugs, dude. I like to think that, my energy radiates and people attract to me, I guess. I like to think that. It might not be true, but, I find people come to me with their problems more often than they fucking should. Or at least I feel like they should.
Because you have that energy.
Well, I
You're
have that
open
hippie
yourself.
bullshit
I feel
that's,
like. Yeah.
generalized enough to help everyone out.
Like, you're not the kind of guy. We don't talk about external shit. We're quick to talk about deeper things, existential things. We're not. Most people talk about sports ball, but we're the kind of guys that talk about the deep shit. And then that's
The
what
bread is stale and the circus is on fire, dude.
That's what makes people comfortable talking to us. Like, honestly, I think that's why people like Hutch as well. All of us is because we are ourselves. We're capable of, and I'm not trying to. I keep on just because I'm praising y'all as my friends. I'm not like trying to talk shit about you. I'm not kissing y'all's asses. You feel me? I'm just but that's what brings kindred spirits together, though. That is in old
realness,
times we'd be a war band.
authenticity.
Yeah, I think that there is such thing as drug-induced psychosis.
Oh yeah, dude, I've fucking went crazy on the couch. Thought I was dying, all from some weed gummies too, man. I was like telling my ex, I was like, "Hey, man, I really don't feel good. If I fucking pass out and I'm over here sleeping, just make sure I'm still breathing." I was panicking, dude. I did not enjoy that night.
And that's why I feel like, because the combination of all the shit I've been reading about and looking up and the weed I've been smoking, that shit can make you have a mental breakdown. So I've been wanting to quit smoking weed.
We're going to have a little lighthearted moment. Y'all can see the type of man Chris is. Just keep in mind, I am a full-grown 30-year-old white man, and these are the kind of shorts I buy.
I would say he's a little bit more racially ambiguous, but...
The banana panda, dude, the pink running shorts.
Are you wearing that on your date tonight?
No, hell no.
I mean, if you walked in with the confidence of a motherfucker that wore them shorts, you could.
Oh no, yeah, well, I do walk with the confidence of a motherfucker that wears them shorts. I've been really debating on getting into like hoochie mama or hoochie daddy attire, wear like super short shorts, start doing like the open button shirts.
Then you're being an exhibitionist at that point for the public's approval, even though it is a part of the mating ritual that society has forced on us.
Oh, dude, well, that's a good thing I'm shameless, bro. Good thing I'm shameless.
Shit, I feel like if somebody showed up in a public space with they do something, I'd be like, this person is fearless.
Oh, dude, I wear rose-colored glasses and like
that person with the
neon pink golf shirts and shit, dude. We've been a little flamboyant lately. It's been okay.
Yeah, but that just shows. I feel like it's the same thing when it goes with like just a slightly touch on sexuality. I don't want to touch too much on it because it almost gets political.
Touch my sexuality,
but it almost gets political. But it's good to be comfortable. There are dudes. I feel like a dude that's like, "Oh, what the fuck? You wearing shorts like that? You gay? You gay?" That's somebody that's out there doing gay shit, guaranteed.
So like, I wear big socks. Like, so if you've ever heard the phrase, "The higher the socks, the downer the fool," your boy Chris is fucking down, dude. And I was walking through the park the other day with my socks on, and this dude, he looked at me. He's like, "Dude, you must have a small dick." And I asked him if he wanted to see it, and then he shut up and kept fucking walking.
Oh my god, dude. What possessed that motherfucker to come at you like that?
Because he didn't have the confidence to wear my big socks, even though he wants to wear big socks himself.
That's why people do that shit. That's
So
why
he lashed out in anger.
people attack you. People try to they lash out at people who externalize things that they couldn't because they feel too much fear to do it themselves.
Very possible, dude.
If somebody were to question my socks, I'd tell them they are my socks. Why does it fucking matter?
Yeah, dude.
Your existence is pointless, cocksucker. If you think that my socks height
Maya, dude.
anything
Existence
about
is
my
Maya.
happiness.
You'll have to look that word up. I'm not going to say any more about it. Existence is Maya.
Is Maya? Yeah, my existence. But a lot of people who can recognize that someone is comfortable with themselves and their existence, there's a lot of the people who've leaned over more to their shadow, their dark side, instead of conquering it, they let their dark side conquer them. They actively attack people like that. Those are the I think that is what the evil people are. The ones, these authoritarian, like Nazi kind of fucking people, like want to crush a man's soul, want to control what the fuck a person thinks.
Yeah, that's not a good person.
Please help me.
No, yeah, like what
Help me.
you want control. Control is not the natural state of things. So even you're going against the natural state of things if you seek control. And then
Of
like
other people, if you seek control
of
others,
anything, really, dude.
So they're falling into that. You have to control yourself, because if you don't control yourself, then one of these people will. That's why an ordinary men, all them cops, they didn't want to go there and kill all those people. They just did because they were doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, but you know,
they're a bunch of 40-year-old dudes. Like, imagine dudes like mine, y'all's all chat's age. Cops, they said not all of y'all had to go, but the one said, well, I can't be. They knew what they was gonna have to do, and they said, well, I can't. That'll be dishonorable if I make my friends go do all that bad shit, and I'm not there to take the pain with them.
Yeah, well,
so it's the group thing.
Well, then let me speak on the group think, you son of a bitch. And like, you can't say that like people that want to control others as the group and sway then and then instantly flip to their individualism. Look, if you want to control the masses, you're not a good fucking person. It's that simple. It's that simple. Control over others is a forcible action. Like that, it is to force things is to simply force things. You know, like friction's natural, but to simply like take my fist and ram it up someone's ass, dude, that's not good. You know,
that's like that story whenever he threw the paperwork away, said, "Now you have nothing."
Mm-hmm.
Now you have nothing.
And some people, when they lose control, they lash, dude. They lash, man.
And that's why when these people, God, that's why you got to be careful with shit, because like with these people, they have they can lash out with their we're starting existential, like the metaphysics of the universe goes around socks. That's the secret of life. It's the link of one sock.
And it's that simple, dude. Wear them if they're gay. Wear them if they're straight, dude.
Yeah, but I feel like this. It doesn't. What some old motherfucker thinks about you is not gonna matter whenever you're sitting there charming a girl, talking to her, laughing, and so you know that she's interested in you. You're not gonna care what some jealous old bastard's gonna have to say about you. You're just gonna be living in the moment. And that's, we could take things like that. I hate to use because the mating ritual is necessary, but the mating ritual between men and women can be perverted into what it has become, kind of like, let me fuck as many chicks as I can, or let me be a slut, whenever it's not meant to be that way. But that's
you worry about yourself, pal, okay?
And we all fall through that. Reel me back in, but
well, I like it when you ramble sometimes.
Because they had the way that, because it's almost like we're expected to fall into these rituals, right? Of how you like put on a mask and make yourself seem like an acceptable person, and then maybe, just maybe, that if they saw the real you, they wouldn't stick around. So you try to keep the real you tucked away somewhere and only show them the face you want them to see. I feel like as men, we could be more. If we're broke, if we don't have proper guidance, we could have someone guide us to seeing what they want us to see versus what.
Oh,
we want to see.
1,000%.
That
Like
is one of
Plato's
the
cave.
biggest. That is one of the biggest. So that we've lacked so much. God, thank God that we've been able to I don't know how we've been able to teach ourselves these things. We have met. There's been many. We've had mentors and people. It's just the day of the self-taught person is coming at the end, and that we've got to keep that going.
Well, I basically regurgitate the thoughts of a dead man is the easiest way to put it. But, I have my own sort of style and way I do things, so I try to add it in where I can. Like, there's sometimes where the real quote would serve better, or like I could just tell you, hey, man, be like water, my friend, nourish life, and or I could fucking tell you that, when you do nothing, you leave nothing undone. Or like when action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its place. Or how the sage holds no one in high regard nor low regard, but yet loves everyone equally. Shit like that.
The tyrant is always at odds with the sage, if you notice. Every time the tyrant takes over, you look at it throughout history, what happens? The intellectuals are like, these are dumbasses. The sages look down upon. This is a hippie. This is a dumbass. This is a liberal. This is a fucking retard. This is a sorry. And it just, and you can look at it, like, even you look at, like, what happened in Nazi Germany? Who did they go after besides the minorities, the marginalized people? They fucking went after the intellectual people and the learned people. Anyway.
Yeah, the thinkers, man, because, they want the sheep, dude. I like to think I would have stood up, but I wouldn't know until I was forced to make that decision. And I mean, I haven't kept up with the political state of the world. I don't see me having to make that decision anytime soon.
I don't care about that shit no more.
It's
all theatrical.
You can call me a communist, you can call me a fucking whatever you want, but first they came for the communists and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the socialists and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the Jews and I didn't speak up because I wasn't a Jew. And then they came for me and there was no one left to speak. Yeah. Bella Ciao. Sorry. We're anti-fascist as fuck, guys.
Yeah,
but we know we don't stop. Let me elaborate. We know America is not in a fascist system right now, but I don't think Trump's a fascist, guys. Calm down. I just wanted to elaborate. I know what real fascism looks like.
Let me show you what a real badass looks like.
Oh shit! The camera's facing the other way.
Against Hitler and everybody starts being how that guy's. Look at this guy. This is a man. Look at all these people fucking Sieg Heilen. If you can see the camera.
Oh dear God!
And look at him sitting
there.
Is that
who that is? Is that the author of Mein Kampf I'm looking at?
No, that's a guy. His wife had get taken up to one of the camps, and he was sitting there in the crowd, and everybody was supposed to be saluting and doing the Sieg Heil,
but he
sat there defiantly and did not.
What a Chad. Be that guy.
Yeah, he's a badass. Yeah, I mean, eating good foods is good. Yeah, I have not drunk soda in probably 2 weeks.
Can I ask why vitamin E foods might be a good thing?
Yeah. Because we are questioning things and talking deeply about things, does that make you concerned for our health?
Hey, bro, worry about yourself, man. If I had to call any chapter, if I had to name this chapter of my life, I would just fucking call it Downward Spiral, okay?
I would call it Controlled Spiral if I were to do it. If I were writing your story, this wouldn't be the spiral. I'd call this the climb up.
Well, that's because we're just spiraling down.
You would be spiraling.
I say that.
It's like you're shooting up from hell.
Half-heartedly, I'm not really out here making bad decisions or fucking off, Like, if anything, I've been the most reasonable I've been my entire life the last 2 months.
It's an uphill battle, yes, thank you.
Downward spiral, guys. Let me be sad, okay? And to quote Edgar Allan Poe here, just to show some range. And so, being young and dipped in folly, I fell in love with melancholy. Ah, who doesn't love to feel sad, right?
He stayed stuck in his shadow. That's why I think wasn't he murdered or did he die?
I couldn't tell you.
There are mysteries surrounding his death. Yeah, but he was very lonely, very sad guy. Good.
No, yeah. Well, melancholy is like a nostalgic sadness. Like you yearn for
That's
how
like a
things
deep
used to be.
sadness.
Yeah.
He like misses the
Simpler
Man.
times is what I miss. Back when I didn't have to fucking worry about how the fuck I was gonna pay my bills and shit. You know, I was fucking 10, just chilling in the driveway playing with rocks, bro.
And then it's like next thing you know, boom, you're here. It's
Boom,
crazy.
I'm fucking
Remember,
30.
each generation, like the old generation always believes they come from a golden age. But I feel like our generation always believes the generations before our parents' generations were the golden age. We yearn for those. Whereas once we get older, we're gonna yearn for our generation as we see the next one coming up and succeeding us. Man.
Yeah, I'm a Gemini.
Are you a Gemini?
Yeah, I'm that's why I sound so dualistic, chat. That's why I feel such great anger and such great sadness. I am the embodiment of a twin in a single soul. So like, good luck.
See,
If you believe in all that astrology bullshit.
I believe it was a fancy way for people to be able to do. It was like early personality archetypes before they had psychology. Yeah, and I'm a Taurus.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. Like, but that's okay. I say this, but I honestly couldn't tell you. I haven't had nothing shake me yet. Like there hasn't been anything that's like really tested me. I think I've centered myself pretty good lately. We've been okay. We've been doing good at work, you know, doing good in life. Nothing too bad, nothing too good, just nice and fucking chill. I've been meeting new people. I guess I'll share this with y'all. I don't It didn't feel good, but I had fun. I met a girl and went on a date. I've been separated from my wife for about 4 months. So my friends were like, Chris, you need to fucking stop being a fucking loser, a sad guy. And I was like, you know what, guys, you're right. And then I went and I had a date last night and I had so much fun. It was a blast. And then I come home and I feel fucking like a shitter. Like I just cheated on the person I'm not even together with anymore. It was weird, dude. It was a crazy fucking experience. And I was like, what the fuck?
That shows you're a good person, though, because you do think of, even though the person that shows your pain, that you still, even though the person that hurt you, like you're still thinking about how you could affect them, and that's admirable. That don't feel bad about that, but still remember the things that you've told me about what she was like. So you can't come hang out with me. Remember all that shit, yeah. Like, so don't feel bad.
Yeah. I'll put you like this, bro. Where there was a moment where it all switched, okay? I was talking with her. Now, I wasn't like, oh my God, baby, please take me back. I fucking left. What kind of a joke would I be? Like, so I left because I didn't feel loved and yeah, bullshit. And, you know, she wouldn't make time for me. We wouldn't spend time together. And then just to kind of relate to the lady struggle, I was the main caretaker. So, like, I'm doing 3 people's laundry. I'm making 3 people's food. I'm doing bath time. I'm doing breakfast. And my wife fucking stays up till 4 o'clock in the morning playing video games every goddamn day. Goes out to the club with her friends. And I'm sure her story's going to be different. Goes out to the club with her friends. And, you know, and Chris could never tag along and shit like that. And I got tired of dealing with it. You know, I was learning in life that it was okay to set healthy boundaries. And, you know, you will see people by how they react to your boundaries. And I set them. And son, it was like I was a fucking single married father. Like I had a fucking wife, but I was single, dude. It was weird. That's the only way I can describe it.
Y'all didn't have an intimate life either.
Well, and I tried though. Like I feel like I tried. Like last year for our anniversary, like I was the only one that even attempted to do anything. Like, she didn't get me no gift or nothing, which is cool. That's not what it's about. But like, it just seemed like another day to her, and that fucked with me and shit like that. And I got tired of living like that, and I said, "Hey, big dog, we out of here." And then I was talking to her the other day to go back around the circle. Not the other day, but like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, where it all switched. I was like, Brittany, if behaviors can change, like, we can get through this. Like, I don't think that, we hate each other or this isn't a lack of love. I think, there might be like some resentment or contentment. You might be upset with how I was and shit like that, or what I did. And the same goes for you with me. And she was like, "Chris, just quit begging." She like grabbed my shoulder. She's like, "If I was going to hate you already, I would hate you, but just please quit begging." And then ever since then, I was like, "Okay, I got you."
So you can't force what you want. Like, similar to like with our fathers, we can't force it on any of our ex-women.
Nope, that's why
we can't force it. Like, even though you are changing and becoming a better person, you're doing it for you.
Yes.
You're not letting it wreck you, which is good. Like, imagine this. A year or 2 years from now, you're doing really good, you're going to say, "No, that's my question was." She says, "Chris, do you get back with me?"
I've already thought about this. I'm just going to tell her to quit begging.
As you should.
Yep.
As you should. And that's the circle. That's the full, if karma is anything, because I mean, if a man,
that was the worst part.
If a man like you begs, a man like me begs, like a genuine guy, like,
"Hey, fuck you, I wasn't begging. How about that?" I was like,
begging,
"Hey, we can work it out. We can do this." And she was just like, "Nah, I don't think we can." And I was like, well, who determines this? Like, who decides that, everything's set in stone and nothing can change? I was like, I think, if we work on it, we can work on it. But she didn't feel the same way. So she told me to stop begging, and I ain't begged since.
That's good. And that's going to be the healthiest thing for everybody involved for the long term. And it's good that. That's a lot of maturity.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was like, I got to get better for myself, man. I was like, the worst part about all this is that the entire time I've been alone over here, I've been hopeful that one day you would call me and be like, "Man, this ain't it. I do miss you." And I was like, and that phone call never came. So like, I see my place here. So like, don't expect too much from me no more. I was like, I'll come, I'll watch the baby, I'll send you money for diapers and shit. I'll help out when I can. But I'm not here for you no more. Like, I can't come and watch the kids so you can go get your tattoos or you can go out to the bar. It's not happening. And that was probably the most respect I've showed myself in a long time, Jerry.
And you need to do that, dude, because if you let that happen too much, I fell into that trap with my baby's mom for a little bit.
I felt like a doormat.
Now, but I will be kind of like, watch the kids so I can go and have, but it's not. And it's good that you're doing that. Reinventing especially in this modern technology age we live in, it's men, we don't find ourselves till we're into our 30s usually. We usually don't get our shit together until we're like in our starting to get into our early to mid 30s. So especially nowadays with our generation, we don't start getting our shit together until we're in our 30s, where it used to be using your 20s.
I started this work to like better myself. Because when I say my relationship fell apart as the consequences of my own actions, is because I couldn't process and handle and communicate my emotions properly. And we started that journey about 8 years ago. And I always thought actions were louder than words, and that's what ruined my relationship were my words. As a young man, I was angry and I didn't really value myself. So when I would lash out, I wouldn't really consider anyone or like hold my tongue. And I would say some shit, I guess. And I guess the things I said to her stuck with her, but never left. And then I think I became a better person. Maybe not. But we've learned to control my emotions and shit like that a little better and communicate. But the consequences of the man I was fucking ruined it for the man I am today. And going forward, I will do my best to not let that happen again.
It is tragic, though, whenever someone loves someone with every part of their being and the other person could care less.
That's okay.
I know your pain. It is okay. It is okay, but it is something that it's like almost like you can almost make a story off of that, but it's the law because
It's life.
it is life, yeah, and it's a part. It's not. It's life, but it's uniquely modern life in America. I'm sure other countries having this problem, but this is unique to 2026 internet age, rise of AI, the the technology, pleasure. So that's back to the point of addiction and worship. Because they know that people are searching existentially now in this modern age, existentially. They know that we are searching. They know that with everything being so easy and mass access to so many things, they know that they can mass produce that to a point where it's in front
Jerry,
of
I
you.
love you, buddy. I'm about to leave.
Peace out, brother. I'm gonna end the stream after this.
Let's
Thing,
hear
they
it.
know. So they know that they're gonna be able to manufacture that. They're gonna put pleasure to the point of where people are just gonna be more comfortable being by themselves. They're not gonna want to be around other people, and that's gonna be because of a combination of individuals' choices, but also of the mass marketed versions of struggle and self-realization they figured out a way to monetize and get money off of. And then we're all just going to be comfortable being alone. It's going to be a mental health crisis, and everybody's just going to be zombies sitting there in front of the TV on the phone. That's one of the options. I don't know, but it's reclusivity seems like it. But I used to think it would be better to be reclusive, but it seems like it's something that society is pushing more now.
I don't know what that means, so it's pointless.
Yeah, I mean, they want you to be
wish
alone.
me luck, dude. I'm about
You're
to
gonna
go
have
meet
luck.
up.
Everybody wish Chris luck. He's going out on a date
I'm not a slut or
with a
nothing.
different chick.
But...
He is a slut. He is a whore. He's hanging out with this different chick 2 nights in a row.
We're checking my options. We're learning my non-negotiables. I haven't dated in 15 plus years, guys. It's about to be fucking awkward. Last night was awkward, but I had fun. Later, guys.
Fear is the enemy of confidence, buddy. Peace out. Peace, chat.